Every goal, every game, every kick of the ball, live. Livingston versus Ross County.
Stevie May looking to lift it over Mitchell! Absolutely wonderful from Stevie May. It's job done. Glee on the faces of all in yellow and black because they know they are heading to the playoff final.
I like the playoffs myself, but I'd rather be in forwards position 100%, sitting on a beach somewhere, man. And to be involved in it's exciting.
And Ross County haven't done enough to get themselves out of second bottom spot. It's finished 1-1 in the last game of the season in Dingwall, and Ross County now have to ready themselves for the playoff final against Livingston.
This is the system that the league has. The team that finishes 11th has the opportunity to turn things around in a playoff, and that's the goal again this year. You've got to go and earn the right to win that, and we'll need to be, performing at a really high level in order to come out in the tie.
We've done it before, doesn't mean we can do it again, but again you go back to Ross County, they've done it before in terms of staying up, so it doesn't necessarily mean they're just going to do it again, so hopefully it's no third time lucky for them.
What the last 2 years show that there's different ways that you can get through the scenario that we're in. We left it very late against Partick 2 years ago. We come through comfortably in the end against Raith Rovers despite it being a really challenging 2 games.
Going into this game, I think all the apprehension, all the anxiety should probably be with the team that was sitting 11th in the Premiership.
We know what it takes, but it doesn't mean that we've got any right that we can win this game without performing at a high level.
Because I think there's a huge amount of pressure on them, whereas for our guys, if we go and do it, there'll be people say, I thought they would do it, but there's a belief that we can go and do it, so it'll not be a surprise to us.
We come into it on the back of a poor run of form. Anytime you play Livingston, you have to go and earn the victory against them over 2 legs as well. There's no hiding place. It's not like it's a one-off game where a decision can go against you and you can feel aggrieved. Over 2 legs, the best team will win and come out on top.
This is Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Good evening and a very warm welcome indeed from me, Richard Gordon, as we near the conclusion to the domestic season for 2024-25. Across the weekend, the 2 Scottish Cup finals, either side of those, the Premiership playoff final. It will, the season end, as it traditionally seems to now, in Dingwall on Monday night. Then, of course, it will be the second leg of the Premiership playoff final tonight. Here in Livingston, we have the first leg, and it is Livy against Ross County. We'll introduce you to our commentary team in just a moment or two. Let's quickly get down that pitch side, because standing there live alongside Brian McLaughlin is David Martindale.
Yeah, Richard, he's been taking selfies, he's talking to the crowd, he's very relaxed. And David, I heard you this morning in Good Morning Scotland on a golf course. What are you doing on a golf course on an important day like this?
Looking for golf balls, because I don't think I was playing golf. So I kind of go around the perimeter of the golf course. Very rarely I'm on the fairways.
How important is this night, and not only tonight, but Monday, in terms of Livingston and what the club's all about, and how important is it for next season that they're back in the top flight?
I think it's majorly important. It was one of the key objectives coming into the season. Can we get the club back to the Premiership? So it's primary, the main motivational from the start of the season. So it's a key objective. So we need to go and try and do that. We've got 2 big games, but really 2 really hard games. This is the game that's going to determine if we get back to the Premiership or not.
You've been pretty consistent throughout the season, saying if it's not winning the title, this was still the pathway. Did you instill that belief, or try to instill that belief in the players from day one this season?
Everyone I had in the building at the end of last season, going into this season, the start of pre-season, they were under no illusions what the aspirations were, and if you were coming here, you had to make sacrifices in your life to try and get us back to the Premiership. So from day one, by the minute we knew we were relegated last year, the ultimate goal was try to get the club back to the Premiership, and every player was under no illusions that was the objective.
You've had 1 or 2 hurdles in your way this season, both on and off the pitch, but you seem to have come through most of them anyway.
Yeah, I think the club on and off the field is in a fairly reasonable place. So for me, I've been here 11 years now, and this is generally one of the, I don't know how to put it, I actually feel at ease. We the club on and off the park. So we've got challenges like every other club, but I now feel the club's in a good place to kind of go forward, and if it's not this year we get back to the Premiership, we'll have a good chance next year. So I feel we're in a really good place on and off the park.
You were here 7 years ago, 7 years this week actually, since you defeated Partick Thistle both home and away to reach the Premiership. You lost it last season. What about Ross County though, because they've got experience of being in this position for the last 2 years?
Yeah, I understand that, but I don't think it's a nice experience to have. So having that experience, I actually think that can work against you, because you know you're going into that again. It's not a nice place to be. Everybody else in the league is kind of away on their holidays, and you've got an extra week to 10 days of playing football, so it's no ideal. So that experience, maybe a wee bit of PTSD attached to that also. So it's not a nice
You're just
experience.
putting pressure on Ross County there though, David. That's a bit of bravado, is it not?
No, I think the pressure's on Ross County. I genuinely do. I think it's on the 11th team in the Premiership. So yeah, we've got internal pressures. We want to get back here, but I think the pressures are mainly on the team that finishes 11th in the Premiership.
This run that you're on at the moment as well, I think it's just 2 defeats in 10, 7 clean sheets in that spell as well. You're scoring goals. Is the momentum with Livingston going into this? And I know you've been playing lesser opposition, and that's without being too disrespectful to some of the championship teams. But is the momentum with Livingston in this?
I think the boys have got an inner belief, so you've got that positive momentum within the group. It's a step up in opposition, of course it is, but we've been to Ross County this year already, and we managed to get through that one. We've had St Johnstone here, and we probably a wee bit unlucky to lose that game. But I see a lot of similarities with this squad and what I did with the last squad that took us via the playoffs. I've now got a defensive unit that actually celebrate keeping clean sheets. I remember Declan Gallagher, Alan Lithgow, Craig Halkett, they were the kind of, and Neil Alexander, they were the fundamentals of that, and there's a lot of similarities with the personalities that we've got here just today to the personalities of that squad.
It's a 2-leg tie, of course. You would just stay in the tie, is it? Because you know you can score away from home, or do you think you need a win tonight?
I don't think I need a win. We want a win, so I don't think necessarily we need a win. But definitely the message within our building is we want to go out here and we want to win this game, so that's what I want to do. That's what I expect us to do, but that's not a formality. That's not just going to happen. If Ross County came away for something tonight, I don't think it'd be a major shock for anyone, but I think we're well within our capabilities to go and get a win tonight and then take it up to Ross County on Monday.
Thanks, David. Good luck.
Cheers, Brian.
David Martindale down there live with Brian McLaughlin. Brings back a lot of memories actually of that Livingston team. They were a really, really good team to watch, given the different attributes that many of the players brought to it. But it's certainly a very unchanged team over a long period of time. They did indeed enjoy the success and remember only too well that Premiership playoff run that they had when they knocked out Partick Thistle in the final, having beaten Dundee United in the semi. Scott Pittman, of course, scoring in both those ties, still very much part of the Livingston team. We will hear from Alan Preston and Rory Loy shortly. Let's get to Liam, who can confirm not just Scott Pittman but all the other players who will be taking to the field this evening.
Yes, indeed, and I remember Keegan Jacobs was magnificent over the 2 legs of that final against Partick Thistle in that match, which is 7 years ago now, incredibly. Both managers is going with the same starting 11s as played their last matches. Of course, Livingston coming through comfortably in the end against the Jags over the 2 legs, winning both 2-0 to win 4-0 in aggregate. So it's the same 11 that started that one. So Jerome Prior in goal, back 4 of Brandon, McGowan, Wilson and Fraser. Pittman, who you mentioned there, alongside on loan Hearts midfielder Macaulay Tate, Stephen Kelly on the other side of the 3 there. Lewis Smith and Christian Montagno either side of top scorer Robbie Muirhead, who's enjoying his best ever season in front of goal. He has scored 18 times for the Lions this season. The bench, Hamilton's the sub goalie, McAleer, Sol, Yengi, May, Finlayson, Nottingham, Shinnie and Lowell. For County, same team as started the draw with Motherwell at the weekend on Sunday when they failed to scramble away from 11th spot in the Premiership. Dundee managed to do just that. So it's County for the third successive season in the playoff final. They have Jordan Amisa in goal, back three of Wright, Nightingale and Campbell, Ifeti, Randall, Kenna and Ashworth across the middle, Josh Nisbet, the Australian, supporting the front two, Alex Samuel and Ronan Hale, who is their top scorer. He's kind of relieved a bit of the burden that came as a result of Simon Murray's exit last summer, and Murray was so important to County in their previous two Premiership playoff finals, 16 for Hale this campaign. The bench for the visitors: Ross, Phillips, Tompkinson, Harmon, White, Smith, Robiston, Williamson and Joe Coyle. The referee, John Beaton. The VAR, Andrew Dallas. And can County survive for a third successive season in the playoff? My goodness, they came so close 2 years ago to dropping down 3-0 down in aggregate with a little over 20 minutes to play of that second leg. I still shake my head and I think about that match, which seemed to go on forever.
Yeah, no, absolutely, it did.
It was about 9 o'clock at night, that game, and it kicked off at 4.
I was going to, right, okay. I didn't remember it was a 4 o'clock, but I do remember it was a very, very long programme. And I do remember driving back down the road thinking, wow, what have I just watched? I think in all these years, that is right up there with the most dramatic sports ends that we have brought you. It wasn't quite as dramatic 12 months ago when Ross County eased the victory against Wraith Rovers. How is it all going to pan out tonight and Monday? Make sure you're with us to find out. You can see highlights of this first leg on Sport Scene tonight, 11 o'clock on the BBC Scotland channel. So let's get to Rory Loy and Alan Preston for their thoughts on the team news. Alan, both teams unchanged from Livingston's point of view. I mean, there has been a real familiarity about that side in recent weeks as they've been on this fine run.
Yeah, and littered, Richard, with real experience. Danny Wilson, McGowan, Stevie Kelly, although he's still relatively young, played a lot of games for Livingston. Pittman has been about, seems forever, honestly, unbelievable. Macaulay Tate, great to see him. And I was just saying to Rory before we came on, this is the first time in many years that I fancy the Championship side, because they're on such a good run, because Ross County are on such a dreadful run, and also Livingston's experience of just dropping out the Premiership last year. The last three have been against Wraith Rovers, Partick and Inverness, who've never really been in the Premiership, so they've not really played against the likes of County. So for me, this is going to be Livingston's one and year to go up. Ross County have dodged bullets for a number of years. Can they do it again? It would be incredible if they can do it again, but I think they're running out of time, and I've said that about St Johnstone. St Johnstone just gradually declined over the years. Ross County just can't keep getting into this 11th spot and expect, well, they will expect, but expect to stay in the Premiership. It's just not right, you know. So Livingston for me are the favourites tonight.
And they've gone unchanged, so too, Rory, have Ross County. What do you make of that lineup?
Good evening, Richard. Listen, they obviously are a terrible run. They did manage a couple of draws towards the end of the season. Maybe that's Don Cowie's version of gathering a little bit of confidence, a little bit more momentum. I know it's only a couple of points, but you know, he might want to keep that starting 11 for that reason, just to keep that familiarity. Jordan Misa in goal is one I like. I think he's been part of a poor team this season, and I think he's got a bigger club than Ross County in him, so he could play a big part over the two legs. Jordan White will come off the bench at some point, I'm sure, in both legs and make a difference. Ronan Hale as a buzz bomb, he'll run about. Those types of players can struggle in the top flight, but when you drop down to the Championship, sheer hard work does get you opportunities, it does get you goals. So Don Cowie will be hopeful that happens tonight. But I've got to agree with Alan. I do make Livingston slight favourites, and not just based on momentum, Richard. You know, that's often the chat when it gets to this stage. The team that are in 11th are on a bad run, the team who finish in the playoffs are on a good run. It's marginal, don't get me wrong. There's not going to be a standout winner by 3 or 4 goals over the two legs, but I think out of the two squads, if I had to pick, I think I would probably favour Livingston. I said to Alan before the game, if I plumped Ross County squad in the Championship at the start of this season, I'm not sure they would have beaten Falkirk, and Livingston only finished 3 points behind Falkirk. So I agree with Alan, both sides unchanged. I think Don Cowie will be thinking a little bit about continuity with that selection, but I think he'll be up against it.
I think that's a really interesting point actually, Rory, because as I wrote the teams down and got them in the notebook here and just looking at them on paper, and I'm up and down looking at the two lineups there thinking, I actually think I prefer the Livingston lineup in terms of strength and depth, the squad, the players, the balance to the team.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at the bench as well. Tete Yengi, he blows hot and cold, but when he's hot, he's on it. I watched him in a cup game last season against Partick Thistle. Might be this season. Lose track of time. But he was superb. He really was, and he's got that in him. He's got big performances in him. He's on the bench. He'll come on.
Well, actually, just on him, I saw him in the cup against Cove Rangers here earlier in the season. He came on with 15 minutes to go and could have scored 4 goals. Got 2.
Yeah, but he got 2. But you watch him the following week, and again, he's probably playing at this level because of the consistency. And you often get that with strikers and wingers, that the flashes in the pan at times. So if you can get a level of consistency over these next 2 legs, but you do look down at that paper and you see the likes of Andrew Shinnie on the bench, Stevie May, gallons and gallons of experience there. Tete Yengi, who can change a game. Michael Nottingham, who's played in the top flight as well for Livingston. I just got a feeling Livingston might edge it.
We will hear from Don Cowie. Just a few thoughts, Alan, on what we heard from David Martindale. I should say, incidentally, we will at one point during this opening hour of the programme break off to spend some time looking ahead to the Scottish Cup final on Saturday, Aberdeen against Celtic, of course. We're going to hear from both Jimmy Tilleen and Brendan Rodgers, who have had sit-downs this week with Willie Miller and James McFadden. So that'll be really interesting, I think. We'll hear a few clips of the chats that they had, and they will be going out in their entirety over the weekend on the TV and radio as we bring you full coverage of the Scottish Cup on Saturday. Of course, Women's Scottish Cup on Sunday as well. So to David Martindale, he said key objective, Alan, was promotion. We want to get straight back up. Did you see at the start of the season Livingston as one of the favourites to do just that?
I did, yes, but the run that Falkirk were on, remember Falkirk came here, Richard, to play Livingston, and there were 50 games unbeaten in league football. They went invincible in League One, and Livingston turned them over here. And you just think they've got the experience. I think if Falkirk had won that day, they were 12 clear, they were well ahead, but Livingston pegged it back and they just kept hanging in, and it went right to the wire. And it's so difficult to bounce back at the first time of asking. I'm sure when Fran Smith, the CEO of St Johnstone on Saturday, says we'll look to bounce back, I'm sure Falkirk said that 16 years ago when they dropped out. So it's not easy, but this Livingston side is littered with experience when you see it right throughout their team, and they know what this is like to get back into the Premiership. This is 11th versus 14th if we're looking at Man United 16-17s last night. In Scottish football terms, this is 11th versus 14th. There's nothing really between them, but I just think that Livingston, because of the run they're on, and Ross County because of the dreadful run they're on, Livingston have got the edge. And I think that Davy will, if it's a draw tonight, it won't bother Davy, because they've been up there this season already, beat them in the Cup, so they'll go up there and still fancy their chances. But I think Livingston can win this, maybe 1-2, maybe even more. I really do. It depends how Don Cowie's managed to get his players back up for that disappointment on Sunday.
It's quite clear listening to David that he is confident. He's got a lot of belief, Rory, in this group of players. He was saying from day one that was the objective, and I said to them all, we need to make sacrifices, each and every one of us, to get Livingston back up to the top flight.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was quite interesting actually when you ask managers these things. It's often eye-catching up the top end of the pitch, where you've got goals and assists and all the rest of it. Now, Robbie Muirhead scored 13 in the league, Sean Kelly 6, Scott Pittman 5, and Stevie May 5, so there's a good spread of goals. But he spoke about the defence. They've conceded 27 goals in the league this season. Only Celtic, and by 1 goal, have got a better defensive record in the whole country. And I think that speaks volumes. And he mentioned the likes of his experienced defenders, likening them to defenders of the past who've went and achieved what his group of players are trying to achieve this time round again in promotion up to the top flight. And it's that grit and mentality of keeping that clean sheet. And when I was doing that, the reason I got that stat was because I was looking, just always like to go on and have a little look at remind myself of the recent results, and it was just clean sheet after clean sheet for Livingston. It really was over the last 10 games. I couldn't quite believe it, and that's not easy to do. And Alan's touched on it already. It's often a a talking point. Is there a big difference between the top of the Championship, the bottom half of the top flight? I always think personally the top flight clubs often have one or two players. In the past, Ross County's was Jan Danda, and that probably separated at times Ross County from teams at the top of the Championship, those one or two players. I'm just not sure. Yes, Ronan Hill works hard. I'm not sure they have that one player that you'd go, he's top flight quality versus this Livingston side. So David Martindale's interview was an interesting one, and yeah, I thought it was quite telling that he spoke about his defence.
Yeah, one other thing he said, which I would like to pick up in a moment or two, but let's go live to Brian, who has been joined by some of the fans who are gathering here this evening.
Yeah, I've got one Livingston fan, a season ticket holder, Richard, and I've got a chap from Paris who's making his first visit, and he's a PSG fan. Tell me why you're here tonight, sir.
Well, it's to be with my friend for this very important game. I know that we need to win to get access into the first division, so, you know, to give some support.
How does football in Livingston compare with football and watching PSG?
More real.
It certainly is, yeah. And you've got a French goalkeeper here as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's Jérôme, so I hope that I will bring luck to him tonight.
And how have you found PSG this season? Your thoughts on them this season?
Yeah, well, like Livingston for PSG is great, and I really hope that in 10 days from now we'll win our first Champions League.
And in contrast, you're a Livingston season ticket holder. No bigger contrast, I would think. What have you made of this season?
I've loved it, to be honest with you. I've loved the winning feeling, and I think that's been a big difference from you compared to the last two seasons. Before that, it seemed like survival. So to be actually enjoying the Championship and enjoying winning, there's a little bit of me wants to be promoted, and a little bit of me wants to stay and enjoy the winning feeling.
How confident are you about beating Ross County over these two games? I mean, they've been in the final, the playoff final last 2 years. Ross County came through it.
They've been here and they've done it before, as you say. But so we've gone up through exactly the same route before, and I'd be very confident. I'll wait and see how we got on tonight, though. But I might make the trip up to Dingwall if all goes well.
Where's the strength been in Livingston this season?
Defence, without a shadow of a doubt. You know, I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm sure I heard something saying that we had the tightest defence in the league, and that's a great building block to go from. So I think that's where we've won our games, from the back.
Yeah, and Robbie Muirhead as well, scoring the goals.
Can score some wonderful goals. I saw one down at Ayr United a couple of months ago. So yeah, and there's skill all over the place. And I think there's a guy in the team, Scott Pittman, that I don't think he gets the profile that he deserves. Tremendous work ethic, and he's just always there, never up nor down. He just does his job. So I've asked John Ward, the chairman, if we can get a statue outside. I think he deserves one.
So confident about tonight and Monday, and then who knows what will happen next season?
If we can keep it tonight, we can give them a fright early on. I think that'll their confidence must be a bit low. So give them a fright tonight and then take it up the road.
You've got a bit of French verve with you tonight as well.
Le Mans.
Thanks very much, guys. Back to you, Richard.
Okay, Brian, thank you very much indeed. Well, you never know quite what you're going to get in Scottish football, and we have a PSG fan here for the Premiership playoff final to watch Livingston take on Ross County. I'm the Livingston fan, one who lives in the real world. He, like Rory, pointing out the defensive solidity that Livingston have relied on. And you think back to that team from 7 years ago, and it was fantastic actually hearing David talking about it earlier on. Gallagher, Lithgow and Halkett, they were very, very strong then, and they had it was the dogs of war, it often used to be described as, that midfield that helped them really earn a place in the history books at this club. And now the current Livingston team looking to do just that, to return to the top flight. One other thing that David Martin talked about was the pressure he felt on Ross County. He said there's almost a case for suggesting they have PTSD? Yeah, PTSD from the two previous playoff finals. I'm not quite sure if it's dug quite that deep. No. But he did say all the pressure on the Premiership team, and I guess that has to be right.
100%, Richard. But what I will say is that they're tried and tested at this level, Ross County. They know what to expect. They've been here the last 2 years and they've come through it, albeit the Thistle one, as you said, was very, very, very difficult for them, but they managed to dig themselves out of it and get through. So they can look at that and say, we've done it before, and we can do it again. But I'm glad the supporter mentioned Scott Pittman. I think he's been brilliant. He's a record appearance holder at this football club. There was a spell, Richard, where I thought he was going to sign for Aberdeen. terrific football player. He gets into the box,
it was very
scores
close
goals.
at one point.
Yeah, very close to score to sign for Aberdeen, and he scores goals as we seen last week. So he's one tonight for them. That bursts into the box, still does it late, runs in, and gets on the end of things. So he's one to certainly be looking forward to.
But I know David Martindale does everything about this club. Do you think he could build a statue?
Oh, Davy would easy. He's fitted the chairs, he's done the dugouts, he's done the lot. So don't worry about that. Davy would be knocking that up in a couple of days. But
I think the
brilliant,
fans,
brilliant stuff, Richard, here, honestly. And the club's on an up for the first time in a number of years, because it's been dogged, but they've been bought over now. So let's see where that takes us.
Oh, that was interesting too. But he said he just, in all the time, 11 years he's been here. He said, look, this is actually the most comfortable I feel, both on and off the pitch. Is how we put it, I think.
Wait till 5 minutes in when he's running out to the touchline. One thing the gentleman did say, the Livingston fan though, and Alan touched on it beforehand, he says he's caught between wanting to be a championship club next season and winning all the time, or being a top flight club and battling relegation. Well, as Alan said before, be careful what you wish for, because there's no guarantees in this league that you're going to go on next year if you remain in this league and win every week. Because I used to say this about Falkirk, and the longer you're in the championship, you become a championship club. Next season's budget won't be as high as this season's budget, the following season won't be, and before you know it, you're a championship club again. So this is a great opportunity for Livingston, and if I was any of the fans, I certainly would be wanting the promotion over the thought of not being guaranteed winning every week.
And you've got to say, Richard, what a job Davy's done over the years here. Really battling away. It's been difficult for him. He's unearthed a few gems along the way as well. And it's his club, and he always says, when my time's right, when they tell me to go, I'll go. There'll be no ifs, buts and maybes. But why wouldn't you want him here? He's enthusiastic. That never goes from him. And I'd done the playoff game where they got up against Thistle many years ago, 7 years ago. And I looked at the photographs, and Davy's on the end of it. It's brilliant. Really good to see that he's still here, 11 years on, still with the same enthusiasm. And Rory's right, within 5 minutes he'll be going nuts down there. He'll be going up and down that touchline, shouting at the fourth official and everything else. But one thing that we have to say is, and it's strange for the Livingston players being a year out, this is VAR here tonight as well. So they'll need to get used to that, because they don't have to do that in the Championship.
Yeah, well, we'll find out, won't we, over the course of the evening, as to whether VAR will have a part to play. The Ross County fans in the sunshine across on the far side there, maybe 100, 150 of them at the moment, no doubt more to come in. The Livy fans making their way in and filling this main stand where the media are hosted these days at the stadium. And the two sets of players out, the county players, half of them in the sunshine, half in the shade. The Livy players over on the far side there, just doing their warm-up in the sunshine. We're moving to, under half an hour until this Premiership playoff final gets up and running. The first leg is here at Almondvale. Live commentary coming up in Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland with Rory Loy, Alan Preston and Liam McLeod. Let's get a county viewpoint now then. Don Cowie has been chatting with Brian McLaughlin.
Well, Don, here we go again, third year running. Is it going to be third year in a row? Lucky for Ross County.
Well, that's the objective for us. We find ourselves in this position again, and it's about us dealing with the task at hand.
Why are you here again?
Well, we're here because of the run of results since March. We got ourselves in a great position, really promising, in good form, and since then we've not managed to pick up enough points in that period. In those games, there's not been a lot in them. We've fine margins, but it is what it is. We can't change it, and now we've got an opportunity to put it right.
Do you analyse why the wheels have come off so quickly as well? Because it did appear that indeed you could have been pushing for a top six spot at one point.
I'm not going to make any excuses or anything like that. We just lost momentum in terms of as a group. Like I say, a lot of the results were by the odd goal, and we came out the wrong end of it. Performance levels, and a couple of them we didn't reach the heights. Again, be honest about that. But overall, I think we probably wanted more points than we got in that spell. And it's up to me to remind the group of what they've done prior to that and what they're capable of, and getting ready for these next two games.
How difficult is it to keep momentum and keep positivity within a group when you see yourself week by week falling towards a trapdoor?
Well, that's the role as the manager. You've just got to keep to the process, what's served us really well up until that point. just giving them that belief, showing the experience that they've had throughout the season when they've done really well, what makes us a good team, and just relaying that messages constantly, and that's what we're looking to do and bring that tonight.
While your form has fallen to great depths, Livingston on the other hand have been on a real high. I think it's 8 wins in the last 10 games, 7 clean sheets as well. This is a huge task for Ross County, is it not?
Well, I think every time you get to this stage, the team who you're playing against has had a very good season. They've finished in the top 4, whoever that is, in the previous years. They've then come through a playoff to get to this, so they've got momentum. So that's no different to what we faced 2 years ago against Partick Thistle, who were a very good team. Last year, everyone could see how good Raith Rovers were. But this is a new challenge for them. They're coming up against us as a Premier League club. We need to go and show why we're the Premier League club.
I think in the last couple of years you had Simon Murray up top leading the line. Sadly for Ross County fans, he's not here. You've got Ronan Hale though. Is that the one, and I know you're going with the same team as at the weekend, is he the pinnacle to whether Ross County actually stay in the top flight or not?
Well, he's a big part of our team. I think everyone can see how well he's adapted to Scottish football. I think he had a little dip in his form, but I think you can see in the last 6 weeks he's right back to his best. He's playing with a real confidence, a real freedom, and he's a big part of our team. And what we need to do is make sure that we service him tonight and Monday.
Finally, Don, what we've noticed in the playoffs is anything can happen. The last couple of years have been mad. Do you enjoy them?
Well, look, it's part of it. I would rather not be in this position, like I say, we're from where we were in March, but it is what it is. You've just got to go and embrace it. It's going to be a challenge. Livingston, really good team, had a great season. They've got that Premiership feel about them in terms of where they've come from, the players that they've got, and we need to step up to that challenge.
Appreciate your time, Don. Good luck.
Thank you.
Don Cowie, it really was, they kind of fell off a cliff, didn't they, County? You think back to February, right at the start of March, they won 3 out of 4 games during that time. Certainly the victories against Motherwell, Dundee and Kilmarnock, and then 7 in a row. He talked about fine margins there, Don, and I think 3-4 of those games were by a single goal. But it was the worst run that any team has suffered in the Premiership this season. And I guess that is why, Rory and Alan, you guys have been saying you fancy Livingston perhaps just to edge this one.
Yeah, that coupled with the fact that Livingston have got, as we've already discussed, a very good squad. But if it is a consistent thing that you're losing by the odd goal, you've got to analyse and look at why that keeps on happening. Having played for a team who is expected to go and challenge for the championship, it's a very different feeling when you're level and you've got that belief that you're going to go on and win the game. I've also been part of a side who struggled with relegation worries in the top flight, and when it's very, very close and you lose by the odd goal consistently, you've got to start looking at the mentality of the squad. Have you got the players within the dressing room to go and handle that type of situation? And Ross County had enough not to finish bottom, but they didn't have enough to get out of the troubles completely. So they've lost a lot of games by the odd goal. However, looking at this tie tonight and the one on Monday, listen, the game was over after the first leg against Partick Thistle. They went there, Livingston had done a job. The tie will not be over after tonight. I'm more than confident of that. But it's just whether, when it is 0-0, when it is tight, when it is close, Ross County actually have the strength and depth and that mentality to say, do you know what, we ain't losing this, we're winning this. And that's very difficult to do when you've not done it for a long, long time.
Let's get some thoughts from the Highlands then. Brian has wandered round to the other side of the pitch and has caught up with a couple of the county fans.
Yeah, well, we've had PSG fans who are supporting Livingston. I've got a Nottingham Forest fan who's supporting Ross County, and I believe you're a season ticket holder, is that correct?
Yes, I'm a season ticket holder. I've been for about 6-7 years now at County.
It's not a Highland accent I can detect.
No, it's definitely not a Highland accent, it's Nottingham accent.
Tell us about Ross County this season then.
Ups and downs, not as good as last season. I think they'll struggle tonight against a good Livingston side. Hale might be one to watch tonight, I think.
Confident are you, given the experiences though of being in this situation the last 2 years, that you can come through again?
Well, hopefully the experience that they've had will help them out tonight, but I've got a funny feeling that it's going to be 3-0 to Livingston.
3-0 to Livingston, but the tie's not over at that, is it though? Because they'll be up in Dingwall on Monday now. I suspect you'll be there.
Well, it's not over, but I've seen the way that we play. We start all right, and then all of a sudden we wheel out the game. But I've seen Livingston in the last couple of games, and they look good and strong.
Yeah, and another season ticket holder. What's your thoughts been on this season?
Sorry?
Your thoughts on this season for Ross County?
Not been good enough. Simple as that. I just don't think the last 9 games has just not been good enough, and that's when it matters.
But they have come through this situation before. Does that give you any hope?
No hope. We've been so poor the last 9 games. I just don't think we've got, and I think getting out of it twice, third time is just going to be one step too many.
But if you, what would you take up the road then as a good result for Monday?
I would take a draw tonight, and then hopefully finish the job in Dingwall. But nothing's guaranteed in football.
I'm sure you were there the last couple of seasons when it was a bit nervous. Certainly the Partick Thistle one, anyway, 2 years ago was.
Well, I missed the first leg against Partick, but I was there for the second leg, and that's probably the most dramatic game I've ever been at in my life.
So would you take the same again on Monday if it meant County being in the top flight next season?
Yeah, but I don't think my heart could take it right enough. But no, in all seriousness, if we can get a draw tonight, and we'll see where Minden takes us.
Thanks very much. So, Richard, I don't think there's too much confidence here in the Ross County camp tonight.
I think we had detected that, Brian. I love the fact that Brian was the most optimistic member of that threesome. There you go. Wow. And the Forest fan in particular, and I mean, there's a Nottingham Forest banner up at the back of the stand there. So this guy comes up from Nottingham to support County. He was the most depressed sounding football fan I think I've ever heard in my life, and would sign up for a 3-0 defeat right now by the sound of things. Wow. Well, I can only
He's the type
hope
that would think that Nottingham Forest are having a bad season, Richard.
I can only hope that there is something of a more positive attitude within the county camp, Alan. That was something else, wasn't it?
That's madness. Honestly, just go out, you paid your money, just turn around and go home. You're predicting a 3-0 defeat for the team that you support. You've come from Nottingham to watch it. That's madness. It really is. But you know what? He's entitled to his opinion. If he thinks it's been that bad this season, then fair enough.
Look, these guys see an awful lot more of County than we do, I suppose. And
yeah.
They, fair play to them. They've got the games, but you would hope that when it comes to the final, there might just be a little more optimism.
Richard, if you think it was going to be 3-0, would you travel from Nottingham?
No. I mean, I'll be honest, the likelihood of me travelling from Nottingham to Dingwall on a regular basis would be fairly slim anyway. But there you go. Wow. Maybe those fans are in for something of a surprise this evening. Certainly County are going to have to redress their form. They're going to have to improve their form. They're certainly going to have to get better results than they have had over the past couple of months. We are now just, less than 20 minutes until the first leg of this Premiership playoff final between Livingston and Ross County. Let's just take a few moments to look ahead to Saturday, the big showdown at Hampden Park. It will, of course, be the Scottish Cup final, Aberdeen against Celtic. We have sent Willie Miller to go and speak to Jimmy Tulane, James McFadden to speak to the Celtic manager, Brendan Rodgers.
First season at the club, League Cup semi-final, top 6, 5th position in the league. Scottish Cup final, coming up, the big one. Sounds like not a bad season. How would you sum up your season so far? There's still that big game to come, of course, but how would you sum it up so far?
I think before the season we're pushing for Europe. We achieved Europe, of course, because of the incredible start we have. We're trying to, and even when we were in the last part of the season, and we tried to push for the 3rd place because we want to be as high as possible, of course, when you have the chance to beat. So first of all, it was a disappointment feeling when we didn't achieve the third place, especially the results in the end, that we didn't really have power enough to keep the performance, and that's a thing we as a manager have to do better and prepare, and the squad have to carry this the whole season, because there's so many competitions. We know we have to build things step by step, and then when you get that start, of course the Also we have to dream big, and we have to push for that. But we were not really ready yet to keep it consistent the whole season. So we were a little bit still inconsistent, and that's hurts us a little bit with the points. But the semi-final and now the Scottish final, it don't happen so many times. Sometimes can be once in your career you get the opportunity to play a final in Scottish Cup. Last time I think it was 7 years ago. So we talk about that now, and now we arrive to the final. We have to give us the best chance that we can, and we have to have a shared belief and a strong belief that we can do it and prepare ourselves. And the things we can control, how we play, the strategy, the tactics. We can't control what Celtic gonna do. We can't control the outside noise, what they think about this. We can control what we have to do to try to win the game.
So talking about next season, after the weekend, after the Scottish Cup.
Yeah.
How quickly do you then go into revamping your squad? I think the fans would like to know that. I mean, I would assume, I'm sure the fans would assume that there would be even more fresh faces coming in, because you brought quite a number of fresh faces in this season. So does that work start immediately after the Scottish Cup final?
The work has already started for a long time ago. We have different departments, and we have some goals, shared goals, and what we think is best for Aberdeen Football Club in the future, and how we want to see ourselves. One thing is also development of the players we have, but of course we also have to balance the squad a little bit different way, because we haven't feel some games today. Yes, we haven't feel the balance is not really there when we have some injuries, and we can't really balance the squad in some moments, and that's why we're trying to adjust and in the way we work.
I think we all know in football that if you win a trophy, and this one in particular, it gives you a lot of credit in the bank and a lot of time to, you know, go down the road of that success. It is Celtic. How are you going to beat Celtic?
I hope you can see that on Saturday. We have some idea. The good thing that we have a clear idea now what we're going to do, and even if the last results have been not in our favour, so I think the way the players have worked this week to take the league apart a little bit now and focus on this final. I can feel the passion they have for this final, and we have a clear strategy what we want to do, and now we just have to execute it on Saturday. And we know Celtic is a good team, we know Brendan Rodgers is a good manager, but we feel really prepared and ready for the final.
The Scottish Cup final.
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Where Scottish football lives.
Brendan, on the verge of your third treble as manager, nobody else has done that. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the game, James. It's I think there's a story around that for probably everyone else other than myself. I think for me it's about, we're getting towards the end of virtually 11 months of work, of which we set out at the beginning to win every sort of trophy domestically, and now we're within one game of doing that. So, but these are great showpiece games. When I came here in 2016, there was a wee bit of a fret around Hampden. I think the club had a period where maybe some of the results weren't quite there, and I used to get it from people within the club, we don't like Hampden. And the point I was making when I came in 2016, we have to start enjoying it, because if you're going to succeed and win titles, then 2 of your 3 domestic titles you win there. So, and from that, the players have been great.
So how do you approach it? Do you emphasise the fact that it's a final? Because I know that you work in a way that you get your routine repetition and your standards, or do you try and keep it as normal as possible?
Absolutely. I think it's a very simple week. I think when you're used to having finals and wanting to be in finals, and at a club like Celtic, I've always tried to prepare every single game like a final. So there's no drop off in terms of how you prepare. You're not raising the anxiety levels from going away to a plush hotel and staying for 3-4 days. And no, every game at Celtic is a final, and that's how I've always tried to approach it. So really, this week leading in, just be simple in the ideas, refine the idea, and then be ready to play.
And what about Aberdeen? What are you expecting from Aberdeen?
Well, 1 or 2 things really. So are they going to go and press? Are they going to come and press like they've done in a number of the games, which gives us space when we play through that pressure? And then that's a team that you would pick for that type of game. or are they going to come and defend lower and deeper, and then likewise denying space deeper? So then you have to think of a different maybe team for that type of game. So, but either way, I know they want to be competitive. We've done really well against them this season. We've played extremely well. Performance level's been high, but it's a final, and they'll want to show that they're there to compete. But so do we. We know that if we're aggressive and we play with the speed and the tempo, then we can be a really dangerous team to play.
Yeah, and I take it's a case of making sure that you're at your best. Aberdeen, as we know, aren't in great form coming into it, but it's a cup final, so is the biggest message to be make sure that you're at your best.
Yeah, I think that's a mentality, obviously, in our preparation, and we always believe that if we can play well, it gives us a great chance to win.
What's your aims, I suppose, for next season, or would you rather wait till after the cup final before you speak about that?
Well, I think it's one, you're right, it's been such a long season, and obviously, of course, as the manager, there's the pressures of managing the club and the press and everything else, and so I'll need a rest after Saturday, so I look forward to that, going away and you're half recovering, half resting, spending time with family, but also you've got your eye on the pre-season, which will come around fairly quickly as well. So, but I want to really put a cap on this season, look to win the Scottish Cup, which would be an end to a really, really, really satisfying season. I've so enjoyed watching us play and respond in the different ways, and then we can close that chapter and move on to the next one.
Brendan Rodgers with James McFadden. We heard also from Jimmy Tilleen, who was chatting with Willie Miller. More extended versions of those interviews will be available on Sportsound and Sportscene across the weekend, and of course online also at bbc.co.uk/sportscotland. Well, you heard it there from Jimmy Tilleen. 2017, Alan, the last time Aberdeen played in the Scottish Cup finals for Celtic. It has become, I was going to say, it's become a second home. I mean, it's kind of almost always been a second home. The difference is that under Brendan Rodgers, he doesn't lose Scottish Cup ties, he doesn't lose at Hampden. He's turned that mentality he was speaking about.
Yeah, he's relentless, Richard. Brendan Rodgers is absolutely relentless, and I think Aberdeen are going to have to do something different this time. Can they look at the 2-2 game at Parkhead earlier on in the season and say, what can we take out of that? Do they
Probably best to look at that one rather than some of the other ones this season.
Do they change shape, which they've not really done this season? Do they do that and think we're going to have to try and surprise Celtic on the day by changing our normal shape? They're going to have to do something different, because if they keep doing as they're doing, they're going to get hammered. And if Celtic score in the first 15 minutes, I can just see your face there, Richard, even thinking about it. Take your calculator, my friend. If they do, but I was just saying to Rory there, but I want to see a brilliant cup final where it's competitive, the two teams, it's close, if possible, may the best team win. I don't want it to be a 3-4-5, because then it devalues our game, and it's our showpiece game of the season, the Scottish Cup final. And I just want Aberdeen to turn up on the day and give it the best they can. And they've got I would say they've got a puncher's chance, but maybe a lightweight against a heavyweight.
Yeah, I mean, it's whether they have a puncher, I suppose, and that can deliver that knockout blow to Celtic. A Celtic team, Rory, that are looking for a 6th treble in 9 seasons, which is just phenomenal to even think about.
Absolutely. I mean, it's an unbelievable achievement, and you could talk about it till you're blue in the face how difficult that is to do, but you could make the argument that over the course of a season, given the finances they've got, the strength and depth of their squad, and the markets they're dealing in compared to other clubs, that it's not an absolute shock that they've won that amount of titles. However, when it comes to cup competitions and one-off games, to be that consistent that you just don't lose ever, to amass that amount of trebles, and Brendan Rodgers, I mean, I spoke about mentality earlier, and a lot of those games, I'm sure some of them would have been close, tight for a long spell. That unwavering belief that we will win. And Celtic Park and previously Ibrox, when I played for a spell, the famous quote, "You were beating the tunnel." I mean, Celtic have got that in abundance just now, and anyone they play against, I think, has that feeling as well. So not only is Celtic got the strength of character, the other teams know it's only a matter of time before they create something, before they score something. So I was joking with Alan there. He was suggesting the lad the county fan who thinks they'll get beat 3-0 tonight should turn around and go home. I wonder how many Aberdeen fans would make the trip if that was the case on Sunday. But I'm sure they will come in their droves. Listen, I cannot see Aberdeen even being competitive, and that's not necessarily all at Aberdeen, because Celtic are very, very strong. I've seen Aberdeen a few times recently and quite insipid at best, and large spells of the game they just fall out of it, and against other teams in the league you can maybe do that, nick a point or three, but not against Celtic.
Yeah, look, defensively Aberdeen have had major issues right the way throughout the course of the season. You do wonder, as Alan said, whether Jimmy Tilleen might, on this one final game of the season, actually look to do something different defensively. I mean, he's essentially had the same tactics from game one to the last game they played.
Yeah, but I think you've got to look at even last night with Spurs, Richard. Spurs are gung-ho and they go forward and they attack. Last night they defended. They've done something that they've not done the whole season. They sat back and they defended manfully, and they ended up winning the cup, which was brilliant for them. I don't think Aberdeen can do that against Celtic. I think they've got too much for them, but I just think they'll have to do, I think he has to change his shape possibly and work on it, and hopefully it will have been. If he has changed it, he'll be working on it all week to try and stop the wider guys. If he plays wing backs, that then stops maybe if it's Kuhn or Maeda or whoever's out there. Maybe if he can get a force full wing backs down on top of them, then he's got a three at the back. If he does that way, then he's got an extra bit of protection in the centre of the defence, but then Celtic will get more possession in the middle of the park. So it's a catch-22, but I think he has to go and do something different. Do the same thing, you get the same results, I'm afraid. So for me, for Jimmy Tilleen, go on, have a go, but by doing something different that you've not done this season. Yeah,
look, just finally on this, I suppose the problem is for Aberdeen, Rory, that they could go out and put in the performance of the season and it still might not be good enough against that Celtic team.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Aberdeen need to be the best version of themselves to get any form of opportunity to try and lift the trophy on Saturday, and if they do manage to do that, they have, it's a long time ago now, shown that they're capable of competing with Celtic in spells in the game. That game at Parkhead where it finished 2 apiece. However, you're coupling that with Celtic being off it, and I just don't see a scenario where a cup final, Scottish Cup final at Hampden, in front of that crowd, going for a treble. I cannot see, players have off days. I can't see 5, 6, 7, 8 Celtic players all being off their game on Saturday, so it's going to make it incredibly difficult for Aberdeen. But listen, if they listen to the likes of Sports Sound and other shows, or hear the chat and the talk, it might just motivate them enough to go, do you know what, let's stick it to them and put in a performance.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone is making these kind of predictions with anything other than the evidence of the history, what they've seen throughout the course of this season. Look, it's going to be difficult. Everyone knows it is going to be difficult for Aberdeen. Can they upset the odds? You'll find out. It is live both on Sports Sound and Sports Scene across Saturday. Full coverage, radio, television, online as well at bbc.co.uk/sportscotland. We are just a few minutes away from the action getting up and running in the Premiership playoff final first leg. Highlights tonight on Sports Scene at 11 o'clock on the BBC Scotland channel. Both these sides with excellent records in the Premiership playoffs, actually. County, of course, have been involved in the last 2 seasons and have seen off both Partick Thistle and Raith Rovers. Livingston had an excellent back-to-back 2-0 win against Partick Thistle, having come through the playoffs back in 2017-18 when they knocked out both Dundee United and Thistle to reach the top flight. So they have history, both sides have history, positive history on their side. In terms of tonight's game, Alan, it'll be interesting, won't it? Samuel and Hale. Hale has been a regular goal scorer. Alex Samuel has never been a regular goal scorer, but I just wondered if the types of players they are might cause issues for those central defenders of McGowan and Wilson at Libby.
They would have certainly preferred to play against Jordan White, as we've seen with Brian Graham. Wilson and McGowan contained Brian Graham comfortably over the 2 legs, and they would have probably been hoping that Jordan White, similar kind of player to Brian Graham, would have been playing tonight. But Hale's got that bit of class. He'll shoot on sight as well, which is very, very good for Ross County, so I would expect him to let fly from well out. They've got some decent players, but Livingston defensively, as Rory touched on, are very, very strong, especially here at home. And I expect them to be going up to Dingwall with a lead. Might not be a sizable lead, but I expect them to be going up with a lead.
We've just had the handshakes down there on the pitch. The podium, the archway has been brought out. Got to say, and the county fans have travelled down in very good numbers. It is a long way down for them, of course. And while the two that we spoke to earlier weren't exactly hopeful, at least they have turned up to support their team. Other than that, the main stand here at Almondvale looks pretty packed. Very difficult to see any spaces from our vantage point here at the back of the stand, and it's kind of spilled into the stand off to our right as well. So the scene is set as we begin to take steps towards finding out the composition of the Premiership for next season. Who will be Team 12? Will it be Livingston or will it be Ross County? Full live commentary here on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland with Rory Loy, Alan Preston and Liam McLeod.
Sunny evening here in West Lothian, which the Ross County supporters over on the far side are enjoying in the south stand, shielding their eyes as the county players break away from a huddle there. This is the 11th time the Premiership playoff final has been staged since it was reintroduced in 2013-14. 3 times our clubs come up: Hamilton, Dundee, and in between those two, Livingston. It will be County to kick off as they look to save their skins for the 3rd successive season, shooting from left to right towards the west end of the ground in the navy blue. White shorts, red socks, and it's played back to Randall. Long ball out to this near side, which sails out for a Livingston throw-in. Livy in their yellowy gold with black flashes, going from right to left. It is a sold-out main stand here that we are at the back of, as Danny Wilson heads it out to young Robbie Fraser on this near side. The man on loan from Rangers, who actually played for Rangers against the Europa League winner Spurs back in December when they met in the league phase. And it's out for a throw-in on this near side, which Michael Lafetti takes just inside the Livy half. Up the line, Samuel flicks into the Livingston box, trying to get bodies forward here, and I think there'll be an offside flag go up on this occasion against Lafetti, who found himself right of the 6-yard box. And there is the flag from the assistant David McGeehee on this near side, and it will be a free kick to Livingston. It's going to be very important for Ross County to settle on this playing surface as well. It's much maligned, of course, but they want to take it back up to the grass in Dingwall with this tie alive, Alan, and it can get away from you on that pitch.
Yeah, it can, and it's certainly an advantage. I know David doesn't say it is, but it certainly is. You're training on it every day, and I get County train on grass, but this is completely different. It's not a good one either, this AstroTurf. You know, it's not like Falkirk's. This one's a bit bare, a bit patchy. So Livingston certainly have the advantage. That's what really kept them in the Premiership for all these years, was this AstroTurf. You looked at their home record, it was very, very good.
It is Livy on the ball with Jamie Brandon, who proved to be a really big goal in the semi-final in the second leg, early in the second half, as they broke down Partick Thistle. 4-0 in aggregates played towards Pittman, survivor of the 2018 team that went through, as that's knocked out on the far side there by Zach Ashworth for a Livingston throw, and it's bounced off one of the pitch side mics, which you might have heard in the background as Brandon pulls it forward, headed away in towards the centre circle. Livy pick up and driving forward here with the chances. Fraser to the left hand side of the county box, low ball played across to Stephen Kelly on the 18-yard line, then rolled back the way to Macaulay Tate, shifted out to that right hand side. Livy have 3 waiting in the middle, surrounded by 5 county defenders. In comes the cross, flicked away up towards Noan Kenny, who gets it clear at the edge of the area. It was an important header away by Akil Wright just to the right hand side of the 6-yard box, as Livingston pick up here with Tate midway inside county territory, and it's rolled back to the uber experienced figure of Ryan McGowan, and equally so, I suppose, Danny Wilson to his left. Wilson at 33, McGowan at 35. Fraser picks up, and now Stephen Kelly collects back towards his own half, and then he checks, turns round, lofts it forward with the right foot to the left hand side of the county box, and Conor Randall wasn't sure where Pittman was, so he decides to dump it out into the main stand on this near side for a Livy throw-in, about level with the Ross County 18-yard line. Goalless in the very early stages here. We're just 3 minutes in at Almondvale, and the throw-in's going to be left here by the looks of things by Robbie Fraser, and it's going to be left here for the top scorer, Robbie Muirhead, to take. Long thrown into the county box coming here as the Championship side look to strike the first blow early on in the first leg. Into the box it comes, headed behind for the game's first corner by Akil Wright. It is a Livingston corner.
Very good start from Livingston, being on the front foot, Rory. Been good for them. Close in the action already.
They've moved the ball from left to right, either side, really, really well. I've already seen more football played tonight than I did last night in the Europa League final. I have to say, Alan, Livingston have started excellently.
Corner will be taken on this near side by Stephen Kelly, right-footed in swinger. It's flicked away across the 6-yard line. It's a yellow and gold top picking it up with Ryan McCowan, and then the cross comes in from the right. It's deep. There's an opportunity perhaps for Wilson, just couldn't quite get his head onto it. Breaks to Stephen Kelly at the edge of the box, controls in the knee, clips to the right-hand side of the penalty spot, but it's headed away. Then Alex Samuels fouled by Brandon, and that's a free kick to County. Just a few yards from the edge of the centre circle inside their own half. Josh Nisbet's going to leave it by the looks of things here for Will Nightingale. Clipped forward, headed away by Wilson, and here comes Muirhead just to the left-hand side of the County box, gets it moved infield, and then Montano going after it. County clear out, and it'll be a throw into Livy. Nightingale puts it into touch, and it's taken quickly to Fraser, and now it's with Kelly. Kelly tries to chip it to the left-hand side of the box. He's found Muirhead as well. It's the first time ball in with the left foot, and it's clear by Nightingale. That's good experience of playing on this playing surface here from Stephen Kelly. Knew which way the ball was going to bounce as he knocked it through. Knew he'd got a good chance of finding his teammate there. As Kelly goes down, John Beaton's the referee and says no free kick. Nisbet at the edge of his own box slips it forward to Hale, who looks for Samuel, who was in behind him though, and Wilson's there to mop up for Livy. Back to his goalkeeper. Livy nil, County nil, early stages.
Absolutely brilliant start from Livingston. You think Don Cow would say they're going to come at us straight away, make sure you're up for the battle, and at the moment it's all Livingston. A really good positive start from them.
It'll be a slight concern as well, because you're absolutely right to point out, Liam, it's a lovely chip ball over the top. However, he did it twice in quick succession, and in fact he's standing watching the ball, square to the ball, and he doesn't notice it twice. Akil Wright's the same, so they'll need to tune in and switch on, because Livingston have started well.
They're in fine form, Livy. Of course, it's no surprise that the team in the Championship that's coming into this playoff final is in good form, given the top end of their division. Ross County quite the opposite. Livy have won 8 of their last 10 matches. County without a victory in their last 9. Going to go back to the start of March to find a Ross County victory. Throwing down this near side for the visitors. Ifete down the line, headed out for a throw-in further up the pitch here, and Ifete's about midway inside the Livingston half. Plays it in field to Hale, dinks it down the right-hand touchline. Ifete's on it at the corner flag, looking to win at least a corner. He's managed to wriggle away from Fraser, driving into the box, and then overcooks it, plays it off Wilson, and it bounces out for a County throw-in about level with the Livingston penalty spot on this near side. It's better from County though, putting the pressure on here. Livy have the vast majority of the players back inside the box, and a couple of them at the edge of it. Robbie Muirhead's been left up front, so Wright pulls it to Ifete, and then it bounces off Fraser, and Ross County have their first corner of the playoff first leg. 7-0, 0-0.
I was here for the quarter-finals of the Scottish Cup with St Johnstone, and Seymour Valakari made a point of saying Davy Martindale with the dark arts soaking half the pitch at half-time for the second half. I'm wondering if it's going to be the same tonight.
Keep an eye on that. Of course, Livingston have recent memories of beating Ross County, having done so in the 4th round of the Scottish Cup back in January. There will be a corner here for the visitors to be taken by Ashworth on this near side, left-footed. It's a deep ball towards the back post, and it's flicked behind by McGowan for another corner, this time over on the other side.
Yeah, he just gets underneath it a little bit too much height on it. I think, you know, the height they've got, and Akil Wright especially, to go and attack it. I think you want a bit of a flatter ball. Was very, very high towards the back post. You want a little bit more pace on it. You're just looking for someone to guide it into the net.
It's an interesting one with Livingston. Their 2 best headers don't pick up. They just go and attack the space.
Here comes the corner from the other side, bent into the 6-yard box. It's a brilliant save, because Will Nightingale's header down into the ground looks set for the net. But it's a brilliant bit of goalkeeping by Jerome Prior, and it stays 0-0, the best chance of the game, and it falls to County. Still in the infancy of it.
Now that's a corner, Liam. That is a corner. Flat, quick, whipped with pace, and it's just a glancing header. A fantastic save onto the post, you would have to say.
Brilliant stuff. And you're right, Rory, that corner's whipped in. Really difficult to defend, but again, 2 best headers, McGowan and Wilson, not picking up.
Good save by Prior, as Ashworth waits to take this latest corner for County on this near side. They're
waiting to see if it was
for
in.
something, yeah. I think
that was in.
Maybe checking to see if it was over the line before the goalkeeper managed to get his glove to
Let's
it.
not start that
No
one
one
again.
in
Liam.
aim again.
If the goal's not been given, they're not going to be able to give it. I think that's what we've established, because there's no conclusive way we can tell.
Well, exactly, but
apparently it's not over the line, so this check will be sorted pretty sharpish.
Apparently the Rangers one wasn't over either.
Well,
it didn't look in to me, to be fair. We've got a decent view of it.
No, that's
game
a great
on.
save.
Yeah, game on. It will be a corner only for County. Split second there, thought they were getting the opening goal. They might do here, and it comes from Ashworth. Prior punches away, and that might go behind for a fourth corner in quick succession for Ross County here. They were on the back foot in the opening few minutes of this, but it's been a better spell for them just in the last 2 or 3. And Ronan Hale's over on the far side to bend this in swinging corner in again, and it was he who found the head of Nightingale, who came very close to opening the scoring just a moment ago. In from Hale, it's into the near post. Wilson clears, and it will be another corner. And Livingston being pinned back against the ropes here.
Yeah, they are. It's a good spell of corners. You know, relatively well defended. It wasn't a particularly good corner, that one, and Danny Wilson doesn't get a decent connection on it. It goes out for another corner. Yeah, again, we'll see what comes of this one.
That was a lower delivery from Hale last time. Where's this one go? More height in this one, and it comes another header, but again, the purchase just wasn't enough to test the goalkeeper. They'd been on target, and it's eventually behind for the corner, the goal kick rather than the right-hand side of the goal frame. As that came in, was it Kenna who got tried to get the flick onto it? Doesn't really make the kind of purchase on it that's going to threaten the goal.
Another great delivery into the box from that side.
Prior clears, but he's giving it straight to Kenna in the midfield. On loan, Hibernian midfielder. Stephen Kelly manages to work it back the way to Tate, who then gets it back immediately out to Brandon, forward to Kelly, and then out to that right-hand side, where the long ball is switched out to this left flank for the Colombian. Christian Montano is level with the 18-yard line of County. Good open game this so far. Fraser with the ball in with the left foot is cleared out for a throw into Livy, about level with the County 18-yard line on this near side. The Livy left as they attack the goal to the left. 2 balls in the pitch right now, though Pittman manages to get rid of the second. It's back into the centre circle with Ryan McGowan, who strides forward and then touches it back to Tate. Rolls it low out to Fraser on this near side. And down the line for Montano, being shepherded there by Michael Effetti. It's back with Kelly on the halfway line. Moves it left to right of the centre circle, looking for Brandon. It's asking a lot of him, though, as it
handball,
bobbles
surely.
and bounces, and the handball is the decision. And it's a free kick to County over on that far side, right in front of their contingent of supporters who've come down the A9 from Dingwall for this one. We've played 11.5 minutes, Livy 0, County 0.
Very lively, 11.5 minutes, both sides having a little spell. Livingston started well, and then County had that flurry of corners, got themselves right back in the game.
It's Andrew Shinney, who got the winning goal for Livy in that Scottish Cup tie in the Highlands. 3-2 after extra time. Tefete works the passes with right-hand side of the Livingston box, back to Samuel, who's gone down. Looks like he's made a meal of it, though. It was Fraser with a challenge, albeit there wasn't much of a challenge, in fairness to the Livingston defender. And it's been cleared all the way through to Amisa. Very faint, optimistic appeals for a spot kick there.
Why does he go down, though? It's a really good first touch. It goes across the defender's body, perfect positioning. Go and whip it across the face of goal instead of trying to buy yourself a penalty kick.
And there's a referee rightfully having a word with him.
He's trying to buy it. It was obvious.
There's no need to do it, though. It was actually a really, really good first touch.
He done the hard bit.
Yeah, exactly.
The ball is rolled out to this left-hand side of his own box. Priori gets it back from Wilson, and under pressure from Hale gets it clear first time, makes no mistake this time. Not a great touch by Danny Wilson, and now there's a chance here for Nisbet. He's in right-hand side of the box, doesn't shoot, pulls it back though, and it doesn't drop to Hale. Libby get it half away. Randall tries to keep it alive. Heavy touch allows Brandon to clear, and now Livingston trying to spring County on the counter-attack here. Played out to the left, lovely first time ball infield by Muirhead for Pittman, right hand side of the box, he shoots, it's weak, and it's held on to comfortably in the end by Amisa, and it stays Livingston 0, Ross County 0. But you heard Rory Loy in the background as Josh Nisbet found himself right hand side of the box in space, elected not to pull the trigger, and Livingston are mightily relieved that he didn't.
Right-footed player coming in from the right-hand side, inside the box, on the angle, put your laces through it, laser it, across goal. If you can find the side netting, great. If the keeper parries it, your strike partner Alex Samuels in there to tap it in. No idea what's going through his head there. It's a great chance for 1-0 County.
I think it's players that are short of confidence, to be honest. He's looking for help instead of just doing it himself. What a chance.
Yeah, it looked like it opened up beautifully there, but that might be an area for County to target, because we saw Alex Samuel, albeit he tried to buy the penalty, we saw him in behind in that area of the box, right hand side. Nisbet just moments later. So a bit of a warning there for Davy Martindale, who stands down in front of us, hands in pockets. Don Cowie off to the left. Of course, the technical areas are quite well segregated here, separated here at Almondvale. Way over on the left of the halfway line, Don Cowie stands, arms folded. Huge match for County. Can they ensure that Livingston are where they want them to be for that second leg, which comes on Monday night, which will be live here on Sports and BBC Radio Scotland. Either side of the weekend Scottish Cup finals at Hampden. Fraser gets a throw in for Livingston midway inside County territory on the Livy left. And it's the Livingston number 11 looking for an option. Montano ahead of him, just at the left angle of the box. Tries to find him, and it's headed clear. Pittman was just inside Montano as well, and a foul on Kenna, so that's going to be a free kick to County on this near side touchline, about level with the edge of the D of their own box. It is nothing each here in West Lothian.
No, he's not getting away with that, Fraser there. A heavy challenge, referee right on the spot, right enough.
Yeah, and just going back to Livingston's chance just after County had theirs, you know, Robbie Muirhead, we've spoken about his goals. He's got 13 in the league. He's also got 6 assists in the league, and you can see why, because his touch into Pittman was top quality. It's a really entertaining game so far. I thought I might have been cagey, but far from it.
Lisa with the free kick, long ball forward with the right foot. It's Samuel who gets the toe onto it, tries to knock it back to Kenna, and then there's a free kick to Livy this time. It's in the midfield.
One thing I've noticed is at the start of the game, when Livingston had that period of pressure, Joshua Nisbet, who's playing the 10, he's playing in behind the 2 strikers, Samuel and Hale. Now he was playing a lot deeper. He was playing next to Randall, and it was allowing Tate to get on the ball. It was allowing number 10 to get on the ball. I can't think of his name right now. And now he's getting right up, and he's getting right against the defender. You see him here again going against the goalkeeper, and that's the big difference for County. They're squeezing the game.
It's actually who's got to be the bravest here. And
Stephen Kelly. Totally shouting my head there.
It happens to me a lot. There's Samuel driving down the right, fouled by Fraser on the touchline. Now this is about level with the Livingston penalty spot for County. It's a chance to load the box here.
I would think Fraser's lucky if he doesn't pick up a yellow card here. He wipes out Samuel right in the touchline.
Oh, John Beaton's given him a warning, so fortune on his side on this occasion when it comes to further administration. It will be a County free kick, as I say. Ashworth's over on this near side to take it. The Welshman, born in Norfolk, former Welsh under-21 international on loan from Blackpool. And there's a chance to put pressure on Prior and his defence. A big line of players outside the 6-yard line. In it comes. It's the goalkeepers all night long though. He clutches with both gloves comfortably and unchallenged, and it stays Livy 0, County 0. We played 17. And now it's Brandon driving down that right-hand side. Level with the edge of the centre circle in the County half, slipping it forward to Kelly. Kelly being challenged by Eli Campbell, but Livy give it away, and County have it. It's a lovely little layoff back there. Down the left goes Nisbet, charging forward. Halfway through Livingston territory, rolls a low ball into Noan Kenny. Chance here to slip it out to Efete, perhaps. He goes for glory himself. It's past the left-hand post. The low effort, and it stays nothing each.
It's no Graham Carey, is it? 35 yards out.
Same goal frame, isn't it?
Same frame, yeah. Not the same technique, I'm afraid. Scuffs his shot. He'd been better knocking it wide and getting himself into the box.
All starts with Nisbet again, though. Getting in that good position, playing it beyond, playing it into the midfield. Should have come out the other side to Efete there, though, instead of shooting, in my opinion.
It's not been a happy hunting ground for Ross County, as Almondvale, generally speaking. They've only won on 3 of their previous 20 visits to this stadium. As Hale picks up in the left, shifted in for Nisbet. He's not getting onto it though, and it's turned back by Tate. to his keeper, who clears from inside the 6-yard box out to this near side. The header won there by Wright ahead of Montano, and out for a throw into Livingston on their left-hand side, and it will be Robbie Fraser who is over it. Nobody really looking for it at the moment now. Pittman comes short, Kelly does too. It's played to Kelly, back to Fraser, lofts it forward with the right foot. Nice little touch by Muirhead, so too from Pittman. Montano then getting it forward there. An opportunity here perhaps for Livingston to try and make something work, but the long ball forward is comfortably headed away. You can see Lewis Smith was going after it. It's going to break here to Brandon, right hand side of the box, tries to pull it back, low effort, cut out. Randall will clear with the left foot up towards the halfway line. McGowan controls, moves it forward there, trying to get a couple of players involved ahead of him. It's right hand side of the box. Montano slips, and it's an important little intervention there by Michael Ifete. He's on the deck, but he managed to make the block, and County able to clear up towards Samuel on the right hand side. Danny Wilson's there, and he goes all the way back to Creor. It is Livingston 0, Ross County 0.
That's that bit of experience, Alan. So many centre backs would have kicked it out the pitch there. Danny Wilson under pressure, back to his goalkeeper. Livingston start again.
It's into the midfield. Kelly, Nixon ahead of Kenna, moving towards the edge of the Ross County box. Low ball to the right hand side. Here they come again. Smith, just the edge of the box, rolls it low along the 18-yard line, gets it back from Kelly. Can't get it dug out from under his feet, and it's going to be swept clear by his opposite, number 15, Ashworth, out for a Livy throw-in level with the Ross County penalty spot over on that far side. That's really good play again. Livingston looking very dangerous when they're coming forward.
They do lovely 1-2 passes, but it's gone little spells, Liam. Livingston started well, then it was County's turn with all the corners, then it's back to Livingston again. It needs a goal though. It'd be a goal would really get us going.
Well, let's see what Livy do here. It's going to be another long throw attempt into the County box by Muirhead. Not much of a run up, to be fair to him. The digital advertising over on the far side. He's ended up playing it short to Smith, who slips, trying to get it back to Muirhead, and he loses out, and County have the ball back as they look to hit the counter, and it's played forward to Hale, gets it into his feet, gets the nutmeg on. Brandon looks to slip it forward to Samuel. Samuel driving down the left, there's a power of running, he's on the ball, left of the Livingston box, chops on to the right, and then his effort into the area is blocked there by Lewis Smith, and Livingston come away with it down that right hand side. It's going from one end to the other, as Alan was saying. Nightingale gets there ahead of Montano and gets it back to Amisa. Towering figure of Jordan Amisa, all 6'6" of him in the Ross County goal, as that's played out to the left for the visitors. It's Ashworth's ball forward, blocked, and out for a County throw-in over on the far side. It's 0-0, and we played almost a quarter of the first half of this first match of this first leg.
Yeah, Jordan O'Mesa's a goalkeeper I like, the Ross County goalkeeper. I think if Ross County weren't in the position they are, having had such a poor season overall, I think more people would be talking about him. I think he's made some huge saves at important times, but ultimately the boys in front of him haven't done enough to keep the opposition at bay, and he's conceded goals, but I think he's a good goalkeeper, Jordan O'Mesa.
He was signed in an ultra short-term contract initially. That was then extended to the end of the season, and it has since been extended for 2 years. So Don Cowie's obviously on the same wavelength as you. He was in the Borussia Dortmund academy, was Amisa, the German, and had a spell at Sheffield United.
Very different yellow wall tonight for him.
Yes, not sure it compares. Certainly contrasts.
Liam, so vital having a decent keeper. You look at St Johnstone, they didn't get Fisher in until the January window, and that's ultimately cost them their place in the Premiership.
Well, Amisa, Rory's waxing about him there. He's only kept 4 clean sheets in his 21 games coming into this one, so it has been a problem defensively, County. Amisa's having to come out of his box, and he slices his clearance onto the roof of the main stand here, and it drops down, and it's a Livy throw-in, and it's taken there by Fraser down the line to Montano, back to Fraser. Now Montano's got sight of the goal, into the area he goes, and he plays it across the face, and Smith doesn't get there in time. Had he done so, it would have been a certain Livingston goal, and it stays 0-0. Real opportunity there for the Lions.
Yeah, Alan might disagree, I'm maybe being harsh. I think Smith's got to see that earlier and get in there earlier. He's got a tap in, and you know, it looks like he's stretching, it looks like he's unlucky. He's got to see that quicker. As soon as Montano gets that ball back, get in at the back post, get your goal.
It's the way Montano has to run round it though to get it on his left foot. That in itself should have given him a bit more time to come in at the back post. He's got to see it. When one wide player's out there, the other one's got to be in as the second striker.
Here come County this time up the other end, and it's going to be played across by Ashford to the penalty spot. Samuel went ahead of it. Nisbet couldn't get there in time, and Livingston clear this time. But I guess on that occasion, again, the quality lacking for Alex Samuel.
Yeah, and to be honest, that's probably a criticism which is levelled at him often. His work rate is second to none. He'll harass and he'll harry, but he doesn't get enough goals. And I did say, at championship level, harrying and harassing does get you more opportunities. Can he take those opportunities when they come along?
Michael Effetti onto a long switch of play from left to right. Effetti has it level with the Livingston 6-yard line. Out to the touchline, and he plays it off Fraser. County have a throwing up the pitch here, and another chance for a long throw possibility here, although Wright's taking it quickly short to Hale. Infield to Effetti, back to Kenna, then back to Hale. The edge of the box, being crowded out by 3 Livy players. Now to Randall, out to the right hand side. It is Wright on the ball. Now right of the 6-yard line, just to the right of the box. It's played into the area by Kenna towards Samuel, but cleared on the angle of that 6-yard box. Pittman mops up for Livingston, and then it's cleared up to the halfway line, where it's rifled back to his goalkeeper by Campbell, and Amisa at the edge of his box dinks it out to that left-hand side, where it will be kept in play by Ashworth. Nisbet out there for company if he wants him, plays it down the line to Nisbet, then back to Ashworth, and into his own half for Campbell. Still awaiting the first goal of the first leg of this Premiership playoff final. And it's County with Samuel.
Surely.
Yeah, flag's up. Flag is up. And just a pointer to the weekend there, Saturday, Aberdeen against Celtic for the Scottish Cup at Hampden Park, live here on Sportsound and BBC Radio Scotland, live on the telly as well. The Women's Scottish Cup final, Glasgow City Rangers on Sunday, again live on the radio and the television, and then it's the second leg of this on Monday evening, again an 8 o'clock kickoff in Dingwall. And Sportsound will have live coverage of that, highlights of both legs on the telly as well, and that will be it for the domestic season. Danny Wilson with a long ball forward across the halfway line, breaks to Pittman in the centre circle, lofts it out to Smith on that right hand side, the former Hamilton player. Now he can go at the defender, low ball across towards the penalty spot where Randall will clear it, first time with the left foot, out for a Livy throw-in, level the edge of the D of the County box. It's a game where both teams look quite comfortable in it, but at the same time don't look like they've got any control of the match at all, either team.
There's no one really, as you said, Liam, in control. It's gone from one end to another. It's lacking a little bit of quality just in the attacking thirds of both sides, whether it be the final cross, the final pass, the final run.
Good build-up as well, Alan, to get there. It's just that last bit, isn't it?
Long throw from Muirhead, not for the first time in the game. It's headed away by Ashworth. Back out to Muirhead, thumps it high into the box again, running about the penalty spot where it's headed away by Nightingale out to this near side. And then touched out for a Livy throw-in, about level with the edge of the County box on this left-hand side. It's Livingston's turn to have a go, trying to make something happen in the attacking third.
Centre halves are up again, just the long throw-in.
Muirhead's come out to this near side to take it. He goes short this time. He's got more of a run-up on this side of the pitch. And then it comes, bowled towards the 6-yard area. It's missed by the first man, breaks to the 6-yard line, cleared by Nightingale. And look, when it missed the first defender, then when it cleared that first defender, if a yellow jersey was able to get onto it, it could have been looking at a chance to open the scoring, but it stays nothing each. And in 27 minutes, moved out to the left for Fraser. It's across the halfway line, and then rolled back to Kelly, who in turn goes back to Wilson, who exchanges passes with Macaulay Tate, and now it's with Kelly on the left side, back to Wilson, looks up, pings a long high ball with the left, looking to try and get Smith involved, but it's rifled away by Ashworth, but only over to this near side where it's allowed by Montagno to get out for a throw-in. Bowls it back to Kelly and then to Montagno. Low ball in field to the left angle of the box for Muirhead, trying to take on Nightingale, trying to stick with him down towards the corner flag at the near side. He's claiming corner, Muirhead, but he's going to be disappointed when he looks at John Beaton and sees him point for the goal kick. It is Livy 0, County 0.
It's a pain on Davy Martindale's face, honestly. He's prowling up and down there. kicks every ball, tells them to make every pass. Such a committed manager.
Yeah, you can see him there saying to his centre-backs almost, I did notice they were going a little bit more direct to miss out the midfield, because Ross County are taking a risk by going man for man in the middle of the pitch. It's worked for Ross County a couple of times, but because they're man for man, Kelly and Tate are struggling to get on the ball, so they're just going direct into Muirhead, whose hold-up play, I have to say, has been very good.
Long ball then from the goal kick. Amisa helped on its way by Afeti, but it's going to break back off the chest of Brandon to his goalkeeper. Prior plays it short out to Fraser, takes a touch, then goes along with the left foot. Nightingale wins it in the air. Is there a push by Nisbet? Yes, there was. Free kick Livingston on Tate, just inside the county half.
Brandon's on the other side. Didn't look up quick enough.
Yeah, he was moving into space on that right hand side. Kelly's to knock it back to McGowan. Just to the right of the centre circle. He's taking his time over this, under no pressure. Clears then, long ball with the right foot towards Montano. Headed away by Wright. And then by Nisbet. The most diminutive of the players on the pitch there, Josh Nisbet. And he works a good 1-2 with Samuel. He's
offside,
surely. But he did look offside as the goalkeeper comes and clears, but there's the flag.
So I know they've got to play it through, but when it's as obvious as that, just put your flag up. Do us all a favour.
Them's the rules, Alan.
The rules are rubbish, Liam.
Is that the rules though? If it's clear and obvious like that, is that the rules that he should keep his flag down when it's that clear?
Yeah, but I mean they've got to let the attack come to fruition, just in case. I mean it might look obvious, but there might be a defender out of your eyesight, right? The referee, the assistant's eye line. You laugh, but that is the rules.
I know it's the rules, but I don't like them. Doesn't mean we have to like them, Liam.
It's now back with Prior, the Livy keeper, clearing with the right foot. Helped on towards Muirhead, gets it back.
Brilliant
to
some of his touches are magnificent.
He's having some season. It's back with Kelly. Chip ball forward with the right foot at the edge of the county box. Randall's there, the county skipper. And he clears it out into the main stand for a throw into Livingston.
You notice that again though, Liam. They're just dropping it over the midfield of Ross County into Muirhead directly, and he's doing a superb job of getting them up the pitch.
Livy can't make anything of it. It's Randall and a nice little pirouette away there by Kenna, and he turns it back to his goalkeeper. Looked like he was going to lose it in a difficult area there. Long ball by Amisa, headed forward by Wilson. Bouncing ball in the county half, which is hooked over the head by Nohan Kenna. And then it is McGowan, who's down in the centre circle. Livingston emerged with the ball anyway, and Brandon manages to squeeze it through to Tate. Worked out to that right-hand side for Lewis Smith. Smith on the ball, rolled into Pittman's feet in the penalty box. Back with Brandon, gets the cross in. Nightingale's header goes straight to Muirhead. Breaks down Montano and his efforts blocked by Nightingale. Well, you don't want to be giving the ball away in your own box to Livingston's top scorer in the form he's in. But he didn't quite catch it. County have dodged one there. It's now with Brandon, who also had an opportunity in that phase of play, and he's worked it to Smith, right-hand side of the box, drops the shoulder, it's a delicate ball in. Muirhead takes the touch and Michaels it high over the bar.
Why does he not head it? It's easier to go down the header than it is to come up to control it.
He's got his head in his hands there, and it's going to be a goal kick to County, when in actual fact it could easily have been 1-0 to Livingston. It stays 0-0.
The ball from Smith's delightful as well. He just holds it up to the back stick. It's just begging to be headed. Why he takes the touch, I really don't know. But Livingston should have scored. I was going to say should be 1-0 up. To be fair, Nisbet's had a chance at the other end, so it's fair to say both teams should have scored, Alan.
It's mad because when the cross comes in, the keeper's running back across his line to try and cover.
You nearly headed me in the back of the head, I can see it.
No, I'm trying to head it in for them.
You'll do it, you're always kicking and heading in the commentary gantries, wishing you were still out there.
No, I don't. That pitch is 110 yards long.
Not with your hips.
No chance.
That goes behind here for a county corner as they come up the pitch. An opportunity for the visitors now this time, because it's been a good little spell for Livingston just these last 5 minutes or so. They've been carving into space in the final third without success so far. It is 0-0. We played almost 33. First half of the first leg, and Ashworth will take an in-swinging left-footed corner in towards the back post. Flicked away there, and behind for another corner on the reverse side. This will be Ross County's 6th corner of the match. This is where they've looked at their most threatening.
Keeper's not happy. Danny Wilson's having a word with the referee. Didn't see much in that. Keeper gets a hand on it and it seems to hit McGowan and flick out for another corner.
Hale's deliveries have been superb from this side, really good. A Ross County head's been first on just about every one of them, so we'll see how this one goes.
You'd think you'd want your top scorer in the middle, but they have been on point. That's another good one towards the back post, which McGowan flicks out for a throw-in down by the reverse corner flag on this near side.
He's actually trying to score from these corners. He's whipping them in with pace.
Throw-in only this time on this near side, and it will be a chance again to get this into the mixer, and it's going to be bowled in there by Akil Wright, headed away, breaks back to right, level with the Livingston penalty spot, up against Montagno, plays it off the man from Cali, and out for a throw into County, which is bowled back to Connor Randall, who will then go, oh, that is keeper. Wow, that is as negative a pass as you can get, I think, given County had so many players forward there. He's gone all the way back to Amisa. Long one forward, headed away by Wilson, comes off Pittman's head, up goes Ifete, doesn't get anything onto it, bouncing ball, Muirhead controls with his back to the opposition goal, but though he's in his own half, gets it forward and then nodded clear by County, breaks out to Hale wide in the left, gets another nutmeg Ronan Hale on Brandon, but
he's playing for them now, Liam.
Yeah, he's enjoying himself, and he's got a free kick off Brandon, and the Livy skipper is very unhappy with that decision. He's claiming, I think, his jersey was pulled there by Hale, and he's right in the face of John Beaton.
Still raging about the nutmeg, really.
That's what it is, especially if he's called it.
Is it as infuriating when it happens to you as it looks?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So do you try and nail him the next time he tries to do it, or next time you get a chance to tackle him?
You've got two options. You either try and just kind of shake it off, or you do that sprinting back, but 9 times out of 10 you give away a foul, and it just makes you more angry. Exactly what happened there.
That is it to a T. Free kick County, midway inside the Livingston half, maybe high line, 8 yards away from the far side touchlines. Alan said all the players, apart from the goalkeeper, are on the edge of the Livingston box here. Most of them inside the D, and a chance here for Hale, gets it in, and then there's a header wide, offside anyway, so it wouldn't have counted. Michael Ifete went to attack it, not a great header to be honest, but yeah, I mean, look, it's worked out, the high line's worked for Livingston there, but it's so often you see that go wrong.
It's brave, it really is. You've got to be patient, you've got to make sure that no one drops back.
Yeah, nobody was played onside on that occasion. There's Hale, little back heel. Samuel at the edge of the Livingston box. He's on his own. He's gone down. That's a cheap one, and the yellow card's out for Danny Wilson with a body check on Samuel.
No. It's for Livingston. It's Samuel for diving.
Oh well, there you go.
He done it for the penalty. He went down easy.
He's had his warning.
That
one looked more of a foul than the previous one, to be fair. But there you go. Wilson wasn't booked, Samuel was for simulation, and it's a free kick to Livy.
And you've got to say the referee was right on the spot. You know, he was, what, 3-4 yards away from the incident?
And Samuel's not complaining, really. So, I mean, if he thinks he's been hard done by right at the edge of the box with a chance for a shot at goal at the edge of the area, you would have seen him remonstrate with John Beaton, and he wasn't.
Well, that's the thing, and the referee's pointed over to the area where he fell when he had the opportunity, as Rory pointed out, where he should have drove through and he's went down easy.
37 on the clock. No goals. I don't know at what point over the two legs it becomes kind of nervy and pensive, because we thought, given it's our first leg, that would be the case tonight. But you can see both teams are trying to take an advantage into Dingwall on Monday.
It would be great if either side got an advantage for them. It gives you then something to defend, something to hang on to. And to think they've played 36 games in the Championship, 38 in the Premiership, and it can come down to a mistake.
Yeah, Akil Wright bombing down the right-hand side, gets the cross in, clear by Wilson, out for a County throw-in level with the Livingston 6-yard line on the near side. It's been a decent watch, this.
Again, but this is Ross County's spell. They've both had spells of the game.
And it's a long throw for Akil Wright to take, as he waits for an option. It's actually ended up being level with the penalty spot by the time he gets this taken. Moved back a couple of yards, played to Nisbet, but he doesn't have enough in the pass to get it back to right. Livingston clear, hoisted forward by Nightingale, but it's going to bounce harmlessly behind for the goal kick. And it will stay Livingston 0, Ross County 0. And of course County made it heavy weather for themselves 2 years ago. It was much simpler for them 12 months back when they beat Raith Rovers 2-1 in Kirkcaldy and then overran the championship team in Dingwall in the second leg. Found themselves 3-0 down to Partick Thistle in aggregate, a little over 20 minutes to play. George Harmon stepped up to take it to extra time, and they saved themselves in the shootout. It's back with Prior, who clears with the left foot out to this near side. The header forward there by Kenna is nodded away by Fraser. Finds Montagno, and then Muirhead again, another good little flick out to Montagno, who's managed to get it through to Muirhead in between the two defenders. Knocks it to Smith, he's just behind him though, and that has allowed Ashworth back to make a challenge and block and clear for County. But again, it's magnificent from Muirhead.
Well, I feel like I've said this, initial play was fantastic, and it was a really brilliant ball from Montagno. It was played blind, he obviously knew Muirhead was making the run, but I don't know if Alan agrees. I think it's dropping perfectly for Muirhead to hit it with the volley.
Yeah, go through on his own. Yeah. We've not seen a lot of Pittman, but that's the kind of game that he plays. You don't see him and then he just goes in the box.
Oh, he's been doing that here for so many years now. And Muirhead had too much for Nightingale's really strong, powerful play, gets the ball into the box. County clear. He's going to break Kelly's way, the edge of the County penalty area. Gets it to Pittman, who's out-muscled this time by Kenna, who sweeps it clear. Long ball, Hale chasing, calmly dealt with by McGowan, who rolls it back low to his keeper. And Prior clears with the left foot out to this near side. And it bounces off the head of Ifete and out for a throw into Livy, and Fraser takes quickly to Kelly, then back to Robbie Fraser, then back to his keeper. Very, very evenly matched game this.
It is, but I think we'll keep speaking about Muirhead. He's the best striker on show from the both sides. I think McGowan and Wilson have handled Hale and Samuel quite comfortably at the moment, but Muirhead certainly getting the better.
We're in the final 5 minutes of the first half, at least to the 45, and County, Ifete fouled, free kick on this near side, and it's a bit level with the edge of the centre circle on the County right.
You see Davy and Danny Wilson. Danny's giving him the rubber ear. He's shouted Danny about 5 times. He's wanting him to play it right over the top. He's not wanting him to drill it in if he can. He wants to play it over.
I think he's asking him to find Muirhead as well. The last couple have tried to pick out Montagno, but Akil Wrights just came right through the back and won it, so Muirhead's holding it up every time it comes up.
Custard pie delivered by Danny Wilson to his manager there. Ashworth over this free kick, just a couple of yards from the near side touchline. Again, that high line by Livy. Hale's gone in behind it right now, perhaps to get onto a second phase. In it comes from Ashworth, comes off the head of Brandon, back towards his own goal though. Nodded down there by Nightingale, but it harmlessly goes behind for the goal kick. And it will stay Livingston 0, Ross County 0.
I think that's fair enough going into half-time, Liam. I think it's a fair enough game. A couple of chances each. Brilliant save from the Livingston keeper early on from a header from Nightingale. And then you've got to say that Muirhead effort, he's got to do better, he's got to go and head it, he tries to knock it in.
You're doing well to breach Livingston here. They've kept 14 clean sheets here this season at Almondvale.
Clearly there's a clean sheet bonus on the cards at this club.
Well, it's working for them.
No, without a doubt.
Not quite enough to win the title. And defensively, Rory was saying only Celtic have a better defensive record in Scotland this season. The SPFL divisions. He goes out to play for a throw-in on this near side, which goes Livy's way. We creep towards that half-time interval. No goals. Fraser over the throw on this near side. Again, looking for a bit of movement.
It just shows you that they were a league apart last season, or this season, sorry, but there's nothing, absolutely nothing in this.
No, it's going to be very, very tight, and you wouldn't be surprised if it goes all the way through extra time and possibly penalties deep into Monday night in the Highlands, as Livingston pick up a free kick just inside their own half, left of the centre circle.
It certainly will, Liam, if the forward players don't start shooting, because there's been about 4 or 5 opportunities to do so and nobody's done it.
It's a dying art. As Danny Wilson clips it forward with the left foot towards Montagno. It's the touch onto, he's done well, he's just holding off Ifete, but he's given it straight there to Kenna, who clears. Akil Wright was in there as well, helping out, so It breaks down for Livy, and it goes out for a county throw-in on this near side, which is bowled back by Fetty. Here to Wright, and then back to the edge of his own box for Nightingale, to his keeper. Now Misa gets it onto his left side and clears his lines, the left peg, and a foul there. The referee bore witness to in a better view than anyone else, and that will be a free kick to Livingston midway inside their own half, which McGowan takes and plays it to his central defensive partner, Wilson. It's a good back to that, isn't it? Centre back pairing, McGowan and Wilson, just oodles of experience.
Yeah. Very good. What they lack in pace, both of them read the game really well. They know that they're not blessed with pace, they never have been, but they get into the right area at the right time.
And 2 international players as well. Ryan McGowan obviously with Australia, Danny Wilson picked up 5 caps for Scotland, scored for Scotland as well.
Yeah. Played against Brazil. Played against Brazil at the Emirates.
At the Emirates,
yeah. I was down at that game.
That wasn't yesterday. As Stephen Kelly turns it with the right foot out to the left of the county box. Montagno's ball in's decent, chested back towards the 18-yard line. There by Smith, no takers in Livingston colours. Livy looking for a lead before the break here. We're in the final minute of the 45, and they've got a corner as that's blasted back off Kenna. And Livingston have a corner right at the last knock-ins of the first half of the first leg.
What a time to score a goal.
Yeah, not just for tonight, but actually the tie overall.
It can change team talks. Really can at half-time.
Stoppage time will be 2 minutes. We're into the first of them. Corner Livy off to our left. Stephen Kelly with it. It's a deep one to the back post area. It's a Livy head that meets it, headed into the 6-yard area. They're desperately trying to get this over the line, and they have gone! Danny Wilson rifles it home in first half stoppage time in the first leg. He got the Livingston party going in the semis. Well, he's just fired home here right at the end of the first half, and that could be crucial for the Lions. It is Livingston 1, Ross County 0. What a time to score!
Yeah, Alan Preston called it. What a time to score. Probably the best left foot on the pitch it falls to, but in the box this time, and he sweeps it home. I actually think his shirt was getting pulled on his way to try and win the header. That would have been interesting. Does not matter a jot from Livingston's point of view. Really good finish from Danny Wilson. 1-0.
Brilliant, absolutely. David Martindale, you just see this through to half-time now. You know, I'm just saying how it changes team talks, and they've been dangerous from set plays, both sides really. But the ball came in, it was a melee. There was a swipe and a miss at one point from Ryan McGowan, I thought, then it drops to Danny. When it's on his left foot, as Rory says, he's got the best left foot in the pitch. Thunder's at home.
Advantage Livingston. They eye up an immediate return to the top table. County have it on the near side with a Fetty on the touchline. My goodness, County in a hole in the playoffs again. Fraser down the left to Montagno, back towards Fraser, and Kenna's trying to see it out. He's failed miserably to do so. Down goes Fraser in the box, but no penalty. County clear. Can he grab another before the break?
Livy don't want this to end.
Well, that's 2 minutes up. Maybe a little bit on top of it because of the goal. County get a free kick for a foul by Kelly on this near side, right in front of Don Cowie. What a blow that is for him. He's part of Malky Mackay's staff when they saved their skins against Partick Thistle 2 years ago. He was in charge a year ago, and he's found at the break here at Almondvale in the first leg himself in a hole again. It was Danny Wilson who struck against Partick Thistle in the first leg of the semi, has struck again here in the first leg of the final to nudge Livingston just a little step closer to the Premiership. That goal coming at the most crucial of times. That after the best opportunities in the game earlier from Nightingale, who saw his header saved by Prior, and Pittman, who had a shot saved as well. Muirhead's looked so dangerous throughout. And right at the end from the corner, Danny Wilson with his left foot rifling it past Amisa to leave the half-time scoreline in the first leg of the Premiership playoff final for this season at Livingston 1, Ross County 0.
On digital radio,
FM,
online at BBC Sports Scotland,
your smart speaker,
and BBC Sounds.
This is Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Scottish football lives here. This weekend is Cup Final weekend.
The stage is set. A showpiece for the season end.
Home of the legendary occasions.
He has done it!
Home of the iconic celebrations.
The squad dance on the Hampden Plain.
Home of history in the making.
A moment they will never ever forget.
The Scottish Cup Final lives here on Saturday afternoon.
And it's Aberdeen who take the lead.
With Aberdeen versus Celtic.
The treble dream is alive and kicking.
And on Sunday, it's Glasgow City versus Rangers.
She gets her hands on the Scottish Cup.
Watch on BBC One Scotland. Listen on Radio Scotland.
What a weekend it is going to be with the two cup finals to take place at Hampden Live, both on BBC Radio Scotland and on BBC television as well. Then, of course, we will round off the domestic season in Dingwall, as we have for each of the last couple of years. And then, by then, we'll know whether it is Livingston or Ross County who will be making up the top flight. Right now, Livingston have the narrowest of advantage given them by Danny Wilson, and his 6th goal of the season right at the end of the first 45 minutes. It has, Alan, been pretty even throughout both sides of its spells, but on balance, Livy just about swung it.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Richard. I think they played the better, got the ball down, played through the thirds at times. Just that final ball into the box has been poor. Muirhead's had a chance where he should have headed it instead of kicking it. And I think Livingston just edge it. They look the better side, the more comfortable on the AstroTurf. And that goal just before half-time could be so crucial. That might be the only one of the two ties. You just never know. And Livingston have now got something to hang on to.
That.
No, I know, but it could be. It certainly could be. I probably doubt it, but it could be. And I think they do deserve to be ahead just at half-time. Interesting second half, because Don Cowie's going to have to do something. And as far as Davies concerned, it's more of the same. Keep doing as you're doing. You know, we're dominating the midfield. Muirhead's causing concern when the ball's played up to him, and they look reasonably comfortable at the back. The two centre halves have been immense again.
I mean, a lot is said, a lot is talked about over the years about Livy, about the height in the Livy team, the power of the Livy team. But actually, if you look at County and you look at the likes of Wright and Nightingale, Campbell, Ferry, Kennett, I mean, there's a lot of height. Well, Misa, you talked, he's about 9'3". I mean, they're absolutely massive. Livy have actually played the better football, Rory, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. County's probably more counter-attack. Livingston started the game really well. Kelly and Tate were dictating things. I think Don Cowie recognised that and get Nisbet higher up the pitch. And it was almost man for man in midfield. Davy Martindale then retaliates by saying, do you know what, if you're going to do that, we'll just miss them out, which they did. And then when the ball goes up to Muirhead, they go up in support. And Livingston came back into the game. But you can see why at times Livingston have the reputation, or Davy Martindale has the reputation he has, because every time the ball goes out for a throw in, it's a long throw. They get several corners, they're putting it in the box. But people forget the lead up to these throw-ins, these corners, these opportunities come from really good passages of play. And listen, I was about to say before the goal went in, as 0-0's go, this has been just about as enjoyable as I've watched. However, Livingston do get the goal. Interesting to see it back, not so much now he scored, but you know, whoever was marking Danny Wilson was all over him. He was pulling his shirt and everything. Then ironically the ball drops to Danny Wilson and he smashes it home. He looked like he enjoyed that. When I was saying to Alan before the game, he's the most laid back guy you'll ever meet. However, he certainly enjoyed that goal. So he did, Richard.
Richard, do you know what I've seen with Livingston this season, which I didn't see in the Premiership last year when they obviously went down, was there's appetite about them again. There's a desire, there's a hunger about them that was sort of lacking because they kept getting beat, and it could be demoralising for you. But they're on the front foot tonight. They've been on the front foot most of the season. They've been winning games, scoring goals, keeping clean sheets. It's been brilliant from them, and they've got that little edge back that kept Livingston in this top flight for so many years. They had lost it, but now when you see them, and haven't seen them this season, whatever Davies done, whether it be personnel change, he's certainly got it back. And I think McGowan and Wilson have got to play a big part in that. Two experienced pros coming to the latter stages of their football career. but their experience out there, and I just wonder if St Johnstone regret letting Ryan McGowan go, because he really lacked a leader in there at centre half, and I think him and Wilson have been immense.
We talked beforehand about the potential of Samuel and Hale to cause problems to the older defenders. Yes, they've got the experience, but of course that comes with age. But actually they have, Rory, they've handled them well. We haven't seen an awful lot of Hale other than some excellent corners, and Alex Samuel, I mean, he's a nuisance, he's a pest, he's quite physical at times as well, isn't he? But they've kept him pretty well tied up.
Yeah, they have. The one opportunity that Alex Samuel had was created by himself, and then he fell to the floor completely unnecessarily.
It's just crazy, wasn't it?
But to be honest, if John Dean should have booked him there and then.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have been the second attempt or the second simulation that got him the booking. It should have been happened in the first instance. Look, he works hard. He works hard for the team. However, he's not got that instinct, Richard. He doesn't show up in the box in the right place at the right time. Ronan Hale's actually shown some nice touches as well into Alex Samuel, but again, when it comes into Alex Samuel, the desire, the work ethic, the willingness to do well is there. I just think he lacks a little bit of finesse at times, a little bit of quality. So yeah, they've struggled to an extent, but I'll go back to what I said previously. Mentality wise, I'm not sure Ross County believe when they get these corners, despite the quality of the corners, they're actually going to go at the end of it and score. When it goes up the other end, regardless of the quality of the corner, I think Livingston have got the bit between their teeth to say, this is going to be a goal, this is for us. Ross County are just lacking that, really lacking that, I think.
And part of the issue has been that despite the height in the team, they haven't been winning the corners. I mean, they got 5 in a row, so that shows there were 5 on the bounce there that they didn't get the touch to.
Well, they may have got the initial touch, but there wasn't enough on it. Fetty's had a couple of half decent chances from headers, and he's just not got enough on it. It just doesn't look like he thinks he's going to score, and if he doesn't think he's going to score, then no one else is going to do it for him. So look, Livingston have been, marginally the better side, enough of the better side to be in the lead. I'm not quite sure. I think it's been even enough to suggest 0-0 would have been fair. However, they do find themselves in the lead, and it'll be interesting to see how Don Cowie approaches it now, because I think he's been quite brave in terms of he's got four players up the pitch a lot of the time. If he continues to do that, Livingston will get opportunities, and if they take another one, he's got a real big decision on his hands ahead of the return leg.
Well, we're just looking down because we're at this end of the stadium. The Livingston players, I mean, there are options there for David Martindale if he looks to shake things up a little bit in the second half, if he wants to just get extra fresh legs on, but he's got some very, very decent players to turn to.
Yeah, I mean, Tete Yengi's the one you would look at the top end of the pitch, but he's unpredictable. Managers don't like unpredictable. Managers like to know exactly what they're going to get off their players when they run out onto the pitch. But Tete Yengi's a type, 20 minutes to go, you throw him on, a bit of a loose cannon at times, but if it is one of those nights where he fancies it or he's got his shooting boots on, he could go and double the score, no problem at all. So he's got that in his armoury. Stevie May, of course, he's got more quality than Alex Samuel, but he's a similar type of player, very industrious, doesn't get as many chances and goals as he should, but he's still a good option from the bench. Andrew Shinney as well, a player I know really, really well, a person I know really, really well, and very good quality on the ball, can take the sting out of the game, so if they do grab another, he can come on and shore things up. So he does have options on the bench. Don Cowie does as well, obviously. George Harmon's a very experienced player, as is Jordan White, but beyond that, as you touched on, Richard, and I think it was myself that was saying it before, on paper, I don't think it's just the whole Livingston have got momentum and Ross County don't. I do think they've got slightly better players.
Yeah, that momentum, either positive or negative, can have an effect on this, simply because it's Livy, the team who've got the positive momentum, that have taken the lead. The county players might be in there thinking, oh my goodness, we're behind again, and it's just been another continuation of this really tough run.
Yeah, for sure, and that is difficult to break, that cycle, when you have been in it. And you hark back to the Livingston fan who was speaking before the game, if you're in the Championship, you get that winning feeling more often. So you take that into games like this where you believe you're going to win the game, and Ross County have the other side of the coin. However, I do think it comes down to as well the players on the pitch, and you can talk about belief and mentality all you like. I just think Livingston have the better side, and myself and Alan said before the game we fancied them to win it. I said I thought they would win tonight by the odd goal, whether that be 1-0, 2-1, that type of idea, and they'll go up to Dingwall and they'll fancy themselves to grab at least one goal. So sitting in that Ross County changing room now, if it was me, I would be saying we can't come out here with a defeat. We cannot lose this game tonight. So again, that comes with risk and reward, of course.
It does. Well, there have been a bunch of kids I can't quite see because we are very much in the middle of the fans here, the Livy fans in the main stand. Can't quite see, but I know there have been little kids out on the pitch having a run around at half-time and just having, I'm sure, the time of their lives. So the applause in the background for those. The players will be back out in a few minutes. Would you anticipate, Alan, that Don Cowie will look to change anything in terms of his team for the start of the second half?
I don't think the start, but I think as it goes on, I think you'll certainly be looking at White coming on, the former Livingston player coming on and doing a bit, because he's good in the air, you know, and he's decent at set plays. Because the balls have been coming in, have been brilliant from their corners. They just can't get on the end of them. Once they got on it with Nightingale, but the other times there's no one being on the end. So he can cause a threat, especially having 6-7 corners in that opening period. They probably wished that Jordan White was on the pitch at that point. He's not. But I agree with Rory. I don't think, if this goes 2-0, I know we keep saying that because they came back from 3 against Partick Thistle, but this isn't Livingston are not Partick Thistle. They're just not. They keep clean sheets. They don't concede goals, and they're difficult to break down. So if this goes 2, it's going to be really, really tight for Ross County to get back in the game on Monday night. It really is. And I'm sure that's what Davey will be saying as well. He'll be driving home, need to get a second. If we get a second, we need to get a third and keep going. So it's very, very interesting. As I said during commentary, Richard, goals change team talks. That goal for Danny Wilson, they've got something to really go into. That Livingston changing room will be absolutely flying at the moment. And the Ross County one will be as flat as a pancake.
Yeah, and you imagine, Alan, those Livingston players, they will be told by David Martindale, right, just get back out there, just do what you've been doing.
Exactly. Don't change it. Keep doing as you're doing. If we can, clip the balls over the top, because it's been successful. The ball being, because of the dry AstroTurf, it's been hanging up, sort of not checking through as it normally does over grass if it's wet. So it's something that's worked for Livingston, so keep doing it. Corner again, whipping them in, they're causing concern. Danny Wilson's got the only goal of the match because of a ball into the box, a good corner in, long throw-ins. We'll continue to see what Livingston have got joy in that opening period.
I think we can confirm that they haven't been out sprinkling with the sprinklers are doing half of the pitch like they did in that Scottish Cup tie against St Johnstone. From what I can see, the Livy subs who have been out warming up, a few of them have left the pitch. The county players away across on the far side. The rest, those who took to the field, will be heading back out. Let's quickly get down to a man who'll be very interested in what's happening out there. Brian Rice is with Brian McLaughlin.
Yeah, Brian, your thoughts on the first half? How crucial could that goal be? Perfect time to score, wasn't it?
Perfect time to score and to get the first goal. You know, it's a different team talk now, but there's not a lot between the teams. You know, it's been a pretty even first half, but let's say the first goal is crucial.
The game's very open. Is that surprising?
No, I think every time we play it's an open game. I've seen Ross County play recently and they've been pretty good in the first half in most of the games, and they've been going and pressing, and that makes the game open, Brian. So, no, it's been a good open game.
You say the team talk's different, so what was the team talk from Davey?
Just scored in the last minute.
Make it 2-0.
Yeah, make it 2-0. That's it, Brian.
Okay then. Thanks very much.
Thanks.
There you go. The Livy assistant manager Brian Rice out a little bit early, and thanks to Brian for having a few words with us. Remember, highlights of this game on Sportscene tonight at 11 o'clock on the BBC Scotland channel. The two sets of players are back out. 45 minutes remain in this final first leg. It is 1-0 for Livingston against Ross County as we rejoin Rory Loy, Alan Preston and Liam McLeod.
2014, it was Hamilton who came up, relegating Hibs. Motherwell stayed up the year after, beating Rangers 6-1 handsomely in aggregate. Kilmarnock coming from behind after a defeat in the first leg to stay in the top flight. Then it was Hamilton in 17, Livingston of course in 18, St Mirren in 2019. Of course, because of the pandemic there was no playoff in 2020, but we saw Dundee relegate Kilmarnock as the second half is underway before Ross County's 2 successes in the last 2 years. Livy going left to right in the second half. They are yellowy gold with black flashes. County navy shirts, white shorts, red socks, right to left. Livy with the advantage thanks to that Danny Wilson goal in first half stoppage time. County with work to do again in the playoffs as Nightingale goes back to Amisa. No changes for either side at the start of the second half. So Prior in goal for Livy, Brandon, McGowan, Wilson, Fraser, Pittman, Tate, Kelly, Smith, Montagno and Muirhead. County with Amisa in goal, Wright, Nightingale, Campbell, Fetty, Randall, Kenna, Ashworth, Nisbet of Samuel and Hale. As Livy clear, header from Wilson on the far side goes out for a County throw-in over there in front of the visiting supporters, who, when that ball struck the net, Alan Preston must have thought, here we go again.
That's all it's been this last 9-10 games for them. Chasing their tails every single game. It's been difficult. It really has, and it starts to play on your mind. Winning's a habit, but so is losing, and they need to get out of that.
Their last win was on the 1st of March, as an offside flag goes up over there against County. They beat Kilmarnock 1-0 in Dingwall thanks to a goal from Kieran Phillips. Not a single victory since then. And if they don't win this one, come from behind to do so, it will be 10 without success. Free kick Livy, the edge of their box, Prior to take, left-footed. As he surveys what's ahead of him, he's decided to play it short to his left or Wilson. They do tend to play out from the back that way. Up towards Montagno, flicks it on with the head. Muirhead onto it, back to Kelly. First time ball forward, will go straight to Connor Randall of County though. He's able to defend it and clears it with the right foot. It's come off a County head on the far side, breaks to Alex Samuel, couldn't quite get it into his stride though. Livingston win it back in the midfield, and it's Kelly rolling it to Pittman on the left. The overlap comes from Montagno. Muirhead waits in the middle, it's knocked away from Muirhead, but it breaks to Kelly, who rifles it high and wide, and that will be a goal kick to County, and it will stay 1-0 to Livy.
Yeah, the initial touch from Montagno on that left-hand side, he plucks it out there and pops it in first time to Pittman. And then it's Muirhead, Montagno again, sorry, comes down the left. Good ball into the box. It's cleared, falls to his feet of Stephen Kelly. You'd expect better from him from that distance. He's capable, slashes at it. High, wide and handsome in the end.
Opening few minutes of the second half here at Almondvale. Long ball from Amisa. County keeper launches it forward with the right foot. Livy head back into the County half. Nightingale gets there ahead of Muirhead, but he can't get it into touch, and Muirhead keeps it alive for Livy. Finds Montagno under pressure from Ifetti. Rolls it back to Kelly. With the right foot back into his own half, just outside the centre circle for McGowan. And it's a low ball out to Brandon, who's got space here. Now he's faced by Ashworth, down the line for Pittman. Continues his run as Brandon level with the penalty spot, turns and pulls it back to Pittman. On the 18-yard line, it's Smith, shuffles, gets some space. Now it's Muirhead, trying desperately to turn, and he shoots wide with the left foot. And Montagno was waiting for the ball into feet at the left angle of the 6-yard box. It stays Livy 1, County 0, but you could sense the Livingston supporters around about this. They thought a second goal was coming there.
Yeah, it's a wonderful move on the right-hand side. Pittman's involved again. It's played into Muirhead, and I think he's not set really to get turned and quickly hit it. He could have rolled it to Montagno. He likes to have the shot wide of the target, but great start to the second half.
Jamie Brandon doesn't waste any time, does he? As soon as he gets the ball, noticed that in the first half, but it's more noticeable now. He's right in front of us. As soon as he gets that ball, he's straight beeline for the byline, or he's passing it up to his wide man. Very impressed with Jamie Brandon so far.
Yeah, he's done well. He's been an important player for Livy this term. His third goal of the season coming early in the second half of the second leg of the semi against Partick Thistle. Former Rangers youth player, of course, moved to the Hearts Academy, 5 years in the first team squad there. Been here for a few years now as County look to respond. Samuel in the cusp of the final third, rolls it to Hale. It's a misunderstanding there with Ifetti over on the far side, and there's recriminations going on just now. Hale's asking why he wasn't in the position for the pass. It's out, Livy ball, Livy clear. It's off Randall's head, back towards his own goal though on the centre spot. It's nodded forward there by Eli Campbell. Now with Randall forward to Nisbet, and came with some good reports that Josh Nisbet to the club. He outlaid 6-figure sum to bring him to Dingwall. He's switched out to the left here, and it is Ashworth out to this near side touchline for Campbell, trying to hold off Brandon as they move it back towards his keeper. Muirhead's interested, chases Amisas there. The ball had enough to get back to the keeper to race from his box, to be fair. There's a good header by Kenna. He's found Hale from that long Amisa ball. Hale's pass out to the right, doesn't have enough juice on it to get it out to Ifetti, and it's comfortably cleared by Fraser. Hale gets back onto it. He's looked lively, Ronan Hale. Looks the most likely, no surprise there for Ross County. Now it's with Nisbet. Out to the right-hand side. Hale level with 18-yard line. Pulls it back to Nisbet, the edge of the box. Rolls it into the feet of Kenna. Poor touch, and then there's a foul by him. The edge of the area as he brings Smith crashing to the ground. And that will be a free kick to Livingston in the edge of their own box. It is Livy 1, Ross County 0. And we're on about 52 minutes.
So they're really poor 3 seasons up in Scotland, Noah Kenna. When Hibs signed him, he lasted 6 months. He was out the door, down to England, up to Ross County again.
This is his second loan at County, isn't it?
He's been poor, and he's not been cheap.
It's a bad run of form, that, isn't it? 3 years.
Yeah.
Nisbet's been Ross County's best player, in my opinion, so far. Even there, he's picking up little spaces in between the midfield and defence of Livingston. He's not having a massive impact in the final third, but I think his teammates are letting him down at times. Ronan Hale's pass there is far too short. One comes into Alex Samuel just before it. He doesn't have enough pace on it. It's just breaking down, but I think Nisbet's done pretty well tonight.
He came in from Central Coast Mariners, did Josh Nisbet. A couple of caps for Australia. As Kenna stretches along right leg there to get it away from Kelly, move it out to the right for Fete, who drives forward. The floodlights on here at Almondvale now. Fete back to Kenna, level with the edge of the centre circle, looks up at the left-hand side, looks to switch it out here to Ashworth. He does win the header, heads it straight to McGowan. He can clear for Livy and out for a throw-in on this near side. For County, about level with the Livingston 18-yard line. And Don Cowie will know the importance of the next goal in this tie. Ball down towards the corner flag for Samuel, holding off the defender. Still he has it, 2 around him, but he's just passed it straight out for a throw-in to Livingston. Livy with that 1-0 lead given to them by Danny Wilson's 6th goal of the season. And it's a Livingston team that's kind of picked itself recently. Same again for both teams at the start of proceedings tonight. Montagno, he's got Pittman ahead of him. Pittman moved into the left. Montagno passed to the right, goes out of play, but the ref stopped the action because there's a man down. I think it's Muirhead. He's down clutching his face there. Maybe a head knock there on this near side with Eli Campbell.
Yeah, accidental. Totally accidental.
They're both okay. They're both back on their feet. And bring it back for the drop ball, presumably here. John Beaton, David Dickinson, the 4th official, will pass it to the ref. And the man on VAR duty tonight is Andrew Dallas. And just that one check to see if that Nightingale header was over the line in the first half when Prior scrambled back. Makes the save even better, I suppose, if it had to go to the VAR check to check it was over the line or not.
Yeah, wonderful save. Diving full left, his left-hand side.
And how important will that be come the close of business on Monday? It's back with Amisa. The clip ball forward all the way through to the County goalkeeper. And he's going to launch this one forward with the right foot. High into the West Lothian sky it goes, drops down off the head of Wilson, heads up to the halfway line. Nightingale heads it forward. Samuel tries to flick on for Hale. Breaks off a Livingston defender to Samuel, rifles it to the left angle of the box here. Ashworth to Hale, left of the 6-yard box, back to Ashworth, and the quality is atrocious.
That's what we've been saying.
Fired it straight into touch on the reverse side for a Livingston throw-in, and he's got 3 in navy blue waiting in the middle.
It's just a little clip in. He tries to smash it, he overhits it by 40-50 yards.
He's got overexcited there,
yeah.
I think.
Even I don't understand what's good. He's in the box trying to cross a ball with that pace on it, so even if it goes where he's looking for it to go, I'm not quite sure what he's seen or what he's looking at. As Alan says, just lift it, give your teammates a chance of getting on the end of it.
Headed out of play on the far side for a throw-in there by Campbell. And it's a throw into Livy, level with the edge of the centre circle in the County half, where it's bowled back to Wilson. He squares it to McGowan. McGowan just to the edge of his own box. Goes back to his keeper. His left side, Prior out to the left touchline for Wilson. Long ball down the touchline, looking for Montagno, gets something onto it. Kelly then fires it forward to Muirhead. Excellent football by Livy. Played out to Smith on the right flank. Smith attacking the County defence here, rolls it into the box for Montagno, out to Brandon, right foot cross, blocked by Nightingale. Flicked away on this near side by Campbell for a Livingston throw-in level with the penalty spot on the right. It's Brilliant play by Livy.
Yeah, I might be doing him a disservice. I think he's trying to switch the play out to this right-hand side and completely shanks it right into the feet of Robbie Muirhead, so it makes it look really good. But it's a good touch from Muirhead, and then it's played out here.
He's got his own highlights reel, Robbie Muirhead, his touches tonight.
He's going to take the long throw in. He's sitting on the wall in front of the main stand at the moment as he winds this one up. Here he goes into the county 6-yard box. It comes. Nightingale with a towering header away. Back out to Muirhead at the corner flag on the near side. Bends it in with the left foot to the left angle of the 6-yard box. Wilson gets his head onto it, but it's a comfortable take for Amisa, who smashes it forward quickly, looking to catch Livy on the hop here, but it bounces off the heel of Samuel. Brandon loses out to Hale, but then does well to win it back. Samuel chases, but it's been nicked back to the keeper by Tate. And PR plays it short there to the left. It's with Fraser exchanging passes with Kelly. Fraser on the left, long ball, looking for Muirhead. Nightingale for company, backpedaling and going back to his keeper, and Amisa gets there just before Robbie Muirhead was able to cause him any more problems. County get it away, and it bounces off the head of Akil Wright on the far side, far from convincing. County clear into the centre circle. Hale can't get onto it, beaten to it by Brandon. Hale with a little nudge on Brandon, and he wins the header and out to the left, but Ashworth is he brought to the ground by Brandon. He'll have to be careful there to avoid any further action, and that will be a free kick to County, which Campbell takes quickly. It's a big floaty switch ball out to the far side. The header was won though by Afeti. Now it's Samuel driving right hand side of the Livingston box. His cross cut out by Wilson, and it's kept in play by Livy, but County get back onto it. Randall, poor ball in field, aimed for Kenna, clear by Livingston, and Muirhead can't keep it in play on the far side. It'll be a throw into the visitors. It is Livy 1, Ross County 0 here at Almondvale. 58 on the clock.
David Martindale sending out his subs here. I think they're going to have to stand up because everyone else says we won't be able to see the game in a minute.
Akil Wright forward, chip ball down the right hand side in the Livingston half, breaks to Kenna, lofts it towards the 18-yard line, bouncing ball, awkward, headed away by Brandon. It's a bonus because he's found Smith in the midfield, knocks it forward early, looking for Muirhead, but Campbell's there first to knock it back to his keeper, and Amisa clears with the right foot. Header back into the County half by Wilson. Smith helps it on its way, looking for Montagno. Montagno, first time ball to Muirhead, just inside the box now, right to the penalty spot. Still he has it. Turns it out to Smith on the right hand side. It's good defended by Ashford. There's a delicate ball, and Montagno heads over. Fabulous dink ball into the 6-yard box there by Smith. It was just a little bit too high when Montagno began his jump to get any real purchase on it. They would have troubled Amisa and get it on target. It's a goal kick. It stays Livy 1, County 0.
I think Don Cowie needs to change something here, because Omisa's just launched the ball. The last 3 times he's had it under no pressure all the way up the pitch, it's just coming straight back at them. Livingston have got their tails up and they're playing some good stuff now, and Ross County, first half was pretty even. So far this half, Livingston have been far the better side.
But brilliant play by Lewis Smith on the right hand side. It's a great ball in, but Montagno is having to backpedal, can't get enough purchase on the ball to go over the top of it, and heads it over. But you think Smith's got him now, he's got his full back, keep giving him the ball.
Yeah, he's got him on toast at the moment. He's going to win a free kick off Noan Kenna, who's going to be booked, and he's not complaining, which tells the story. Free kick Livingston. It's kind of, you get to a certain point in the game and it's 1-0 Livy here. You just wonder at what point County would accept a 1-0 defeat and take it back home for the second leg on Monday. He is going to change it.
Yep.
It's going to be Alex Samuel, it's got to be.
Yeah, Jordan White is ready.
He's on a booking, he's not a great night.
Second top scorer for County, Jordan White behind Ronan Hale. Both in double figures, to be fair.
If you are going to be more direct, Liam, it makes sense to bring Jordan White on.
Yeah, and Samuel is coming off. And he's being booed by the Livingston supporters, given he's tried to buy his team a penalty and a free kick in the edge of the Livingston box this evening. But on comes big Jordan White. Different threat for the Livingston defence, but White's first act is going to have to be to help out defensively here, because Livy have a free kick just about 6 yards away from the edge of the centre circle, right of centre. Low ball to Muirhead, ushers it to Smith. Smith bends it into the left side of the 6-yard box, and County get it half away. Fraser tries to keep it alive, but Randall gets there and nicks it out for a throw-in. on the far side to the home team, who are pressing for a second goal.
Well worked set piece that.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of the pitch, into Robbie Muirhead, popped out wide.
Well, Livingston are looking to the bench as well. Macaulay Tate is going to come off to be replaced here by Daniel Finlayson. Tate had gone about his business quite well.
Yeah, he's done well. He's really enjoyed his loan spell here at Livingston from Hearts.
Has he got a future there?
I think so.
New manager?
It'd be difficult. There's a lot of players in there, Beningame and Devlin and Neuenoff and all these guys are in there, but he's done well here. He's really enjoyed himself.
Right then, long throw, Livingston, Muirhead on the left-hand side into the county box, headed away. Fight got the touch onto that as Hale goes down and wins the free kick just outside the centre circle of Scott Pittman.
Yeah. Just wonder if Finlayson's going to play. Brandon going to push one up because Finlayson's a right back. Will Brandon push up one?
Not at the moment. It looks as though Finlayson's playing right of a back three at the moment for Livy. We heard Davy Martindale talking about that famous triumvirate of Halkett, Gallagher and Lithgow. Helped them up in 2018. As White plays it to the edge of the penalty area. Now it's Nisbet on the turn, works it into the path on the right there of White, couldn't get the ball across, kind of crowded out, but it has gone behind for a Ross County corner. And their supporters over there are trying their best to galvanise this set of players.
This is important in terms of Jordan White coming on, because he's much more of a threat than Alex Samuel from these positions. Have they got the communication on? Who's picking him up? With the different substitutions that have been made.
63 on the clock, Livy 1, County 0, but it is a corner to the Highlanders. Over on the right hand side as they attack the goal to the left, and it comes to the 6-yard area. It comes flicking off the head of Kenna and didn't find Nightingale, who was at the back post area, and Livingston get it clear and away in a counter. Awkward ball here for Campbell to defend under pressure from Kelly, but he gets it back to Amisa. But again, it's another long ball forward out to that right hand side this time. And this time it works out for County because it's dropped at the feet of Nisbet after the initial contact. Back into his own half for Nightingale, who gets it back immediately from right. Nightingale, low ball forward to Nisbet, gets it into feet, turns it to his left. Here's Ashworth, gets the early ball looking for White. It's headed away by Wilson. County pick up over on the right hand side. Ifete down the line for White. White's looking to dig out across, and it comes, it's too close to Prior, who holds on, and it stays Livy 1, County 0.
Yeah, I think it's the same shape for Livingston. I don't think they've gone to 3 at the back. Why would you? They've been dominating the game. I think Finlayson's come on. Brandon, you can see them trying to get to him. Jamie Brandon's going to sit as a holder.
Yeah.
Taking over for Tate, and he'll go and play right back.
Header forward for County. White picks up in the centre circle. He's already shown more in the match than Samuel did in the more than an hour he was on. Here's Hale driving down the left, looking to get it in behind Ryan McGowan. McGowan deals with it well and chaperones it behind for the goal kick. And it will be a Livingston goal kick. How does Martindale look at the just over a quarter of this first leg to go? Does he try and get that second goal? Because that could be so important.
I think he'll be disappointed if he doesn't get it. I think it's here for the taking. County haven't played well, they've not looked great. Livingston have been the better side, and I think they'll rue if they don't go up with more than one goal.
Poor ball out of defence by Livy. It's over on the right. White's cross takes a touch up into the air, and Ronan Hale with a spectacular bicycle kick effort from probably about 14 yards out, just to the right of the penalty spot. As he swung, he hits it over, and it will stay Livy 1, County 0. If that goes in, it's a brilliant goal. You see it every now and again.
Not in Scotland, though.
It was a difficult one to didn't have any pace on the ball, so you're having to generate the power as well as finding the corner without looking. But just going back to Ryan McGowan there, he was about 5 chapters ahead of Ronan Hale, trying to run him down the side, and McGowan was there before he'd even touched the ball. Hale just about. Really impressive.
We've seen a couple of bicycle kick finishes this season. Louis Moult, Esther Sockler in the Premiership.
Watson not scored one for Kilmarnock.
Yeah. Throw in here on this near side for Livy, which Finlayson bowls forward. Nightingale heads away. It's off the head of White. He's done well to work it out to that right side for Ifete. Brandon closing him down. Brandon, did he foul him? Yes, he did.
Brandon has to get booked. He's had so many tackles.
No, doesn't look like he's, well,
wow.
Don't think he is. John Beaton's speaking to him, but not exactly at close quarters. And it will be no yellow card.
Conor Randall's in the referee's ear here.
Oh, he's followed every single foul up, Brandon, by moaning and complaining for about 5 minutes afterwards. So I'm surprised John Beaton hasn't booked him. And they've all been fouls, by the way.
Free kick County, about 6 yards away from the far side touchline in front of the visiting support. In the Livingston half. Chance to get this in the mixer. And it comes from Ashworth. Bends it into the box with an easy take all night long for Jerome Prior, who holds on and smashes it clear, looking to get Kelly involved. He wins the header. Manages to nick it forward there, but Smith couldn't quite get it under control, and County able to head away. It's going to break out to this near side, and Kenna smashes into 2 Livy players. But most notably Montagno, who took the brunt of that challenge from the on-loan Highby. It's gone out for a Livy throw-in only on this near side.
Nothing wrong with it though, Liam, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think he won the ball.
He did, but mistimes that by a fraction of a second, and he's off, having been booked.
Throw-in Livy on this near side.
I've got to say, if this is as good as County have got, they're struggling. They're toiling.
Played 68 minutes. We are in the final quarter of the first leg. Livy 1, County 0. That Danny Wilson goal in first half stoppage time doing the damage. And Livy are up the pitch again here. They've got a throw-in down by the corner flag. Robbie Muirhead drying the ball down as he prepares to knock this or throw this into the Ross County box. Livy looking for what would be a precious second. Into the area it comes. It's flicked half away by Kenna and then unceremoniously booted to safety by Randall. Brandon knocks it back out to this near side. Muirhead with the up and under this time. Headed away by White. Nisbet does well. Lovely turn and pass out to the right-hand side for Michael Effetti. Gets it up to the halfway line. Faced by Fraser. Down the line there for Nisbet. Gets it forward to Randalls. It's a chance for County. Randall's going to have to settle for a corner unless they can prevent that. No, Wilson couldn't. It will be a County corner. It looked like they were getting in behind there though, and that'll give Don Cowie a great degree of hope that they could potentially take even a draw. Would be seen as a really good result for them from this point.
Yeah, it would be. I think he would sign off for that right now, but it was lovely play by Nisbet at the edge of his own box, whipping it out to the right-hand side, and they get some right up the park.
Dylan Smith's coming on shortly for County. There might be 1 or 2 others coming on as well. Anyway, we'll get to that. There's a corner which is whipped in from the far side. It's headed away by Livy. Clean sheet specialists in the league here, as I mentioned in the first half, as they get that away. They've kept 14 clean sheets at Almondvale this campaign. They've got a man down inside their own box.
It's Lewis Smith, I think.
It might actually be Muirhead who's down inside the box, Alan. Yeah. So double change for County. George Harmon, who played a big role in the playoffs over the last couple of seasons, and perhaps in particular against Partick Thistle 2 years ago, scored the goal that took it to extra time. And he's going to come on for Effetti, so like-for-like change there effectively. Dylan Smith is going to come on as well, so double change. Off comes Effetti, off comes Ashworth, so like-for-like changes there potentially.
Just try to freshen the side up, try to give them something.
Yeah. Harmon goes to the left, Smith to the right. It's back with Amisa, long ball with the right foot up towards White, gets a touch onto it, knocked towards the edge of the box for Hale. Livy clear through Kelly. Randall with a header up into the air, and then it drops down in the midfield here.
Run him.
And now Montagno gets the touch, and now he's driving forward up to the edge of the box, but they've managed to get away with that. County, like Campbell, managed to get himself back with Montagno. Looked like he was going to evade him there, and he might well have been in on goal, or at the very worst get the chance to pass to his left where he had an option. County get away with it. It stays Livy 1, County 0.
Yeah, he's unlucky, Montagno, actually, because to have any sort...
Oh, that's a chip ball. Prior comes to the edge of his box to head clear with Hale bearing down on him. So it comes off the head of Randall and out for a throw-in on this near side to Livingston.
Yeah, for half a second there I thought Ross County might have been in, but yeah, Montagno has to slow down to get any accuracy on the potential pass he's going to make, and when he slows down, Campbell does really well to make up the ground and get back.
Finlayson's throwing forward, it comes off Pittman's head, it goes back towards his own half, and then Kelly's been robbed by Nisbet. They've got an opportunity. Smith driving down the right-hand side. Nisbet finds him right-hand side of the box. He shoots, and a good save down low at his near post there by Prior to put it behind for a Ross County corner. But that is much, much better from the Staggies.
Yeah.
They still, though, are 1-0 behind.
Yeah, Nisbet has been Ross County's best player by an absolute stretch. He is the one that looks likely to create something, maybe not score himself, but put it on a plate for somebody else. I think he's been really, really impressive. By far and away the best county player.
Corner to the visitors over on their right side as they attack the goal to the left. It's bent in towards the back post area. It's a County head gets onto it, but it's a comfortable take for Prior this time. And the keeper gets rid of it out to that left-hand side as Kelly picks up. It was Akio Wright got his head to that opportunity there for County. Couldn't get the power generate to beat the keeper. Here comes Finlayson, rolls it out to the right for Smith, right of the County box. On his left side, back to level the edge of the D. He's looking for the spectacular top left corner finish there. And it goes past the post, and it stays Livy 1, County 0 at Almondvale. We've got, well, we're heading towards the final 15 minutes of this first leg. We're on 73 minutes. It's been entertaining stuff. I said that in the first half. It's flown by.
Yeah, it's been really good stuff. You know, Livingston certainly deserve to be ahead, but County have got better. The changes with White, etc., have made them slightly better, got them back a little bit more into the game.
We know Ross County have spent the vast majority of recent times as a top flight team. It's 11, in fact 12 now, the last 13 seasons they've played in the top flight. You make that 13 from 14, but it's under duress right now. Left-hand side of the box, White back to Harmon, takes a touch on the left, looks up, bends it into the back post, headed away by Fraser. Clearance completed by Pittman. Now it's Nightingale, gets it out to that right-hand side for Nisbet. Lovely little ball, right-hand side of the box. Smith couldn't quite get onto it, and it's knocked by Wilson. Back off Dylan Smith and behind for the goal kick to Livingston. But they've come under a bit more pressure just in the last 5 minutes, Livy.
They have, and I think Stevie May's looking to be warming up down there.
He's not just warming up, he's ready. He's coming on.
Be interesting to see who for, because really playing with one focal point, and you have him as an out-and-out striker. Stevie May, and I can't see Robbie Muirhead coming off.
I think they've got the number.
They have, because they had the number 85 on there. Stevie May wore the number 83 once upon a time during his spell at Aberdeen, but he's got the 17. It's Muirhead who is coming off. Well, regardless of what happens with he now in full time, Robbie Muirhead, you would imagine, will have a big role to play in this tie when this tie goes to the Highlands on Monday evening. And haven't seen as much of him in the second half as we did in the first, to be fair.
No, but he's been excellent. A really good performance from him. His touch has been impeccable at times. He's linked up with other players. I thought he should have scored mine with a header in the first half where he likes to hit it with his foot. But he's played very well, and I think, you know, we're not even at half time of this tie yet. And you know, David Martindale's maybe looking at Monday and thinking, right, I can't afford him not to be fit and not to be firing for Monday night.
Stevie May on, I believe his contract at St Johnstone won't be getting renewed. He's Ofsky, his hometown club, who he's had such brilliant success with down the years over his two spells.
Oh, it was magnificent for St Johnstone. He has been really good, but Father Time catches up with everyone, I'm afraid.
And to be fair, he's had some horrendous injuries.
Yeah, he has.
I wonder if David Martindale's just thinking, Robbie Muirhead, as good as he's been, it's more into feet, let him hold it up. I think he thinks as Ross County maybe try and get a goal back, will there be more grass in behind the Ross County defence? I know he's not, you know, known for his pace necessarily, Stevie May, but he is a strong runner in the channels and in behind.
But he can finish, as we've seen with his goal against Thistle. It was magnificent.
He scored the fourth in the tie. He's always had that good finisher, and won his first Scottish Cup 11 years ago.
Yeah,
and it was actually him, Stevie McLean and Michael O'Halloran were pivotal to that success.
They were, and I think Stevie McLean played a massive part in his career, because he was the one that led the line, and he was the older guy.
Very underrated player, Stevie McLean.
Brilliant. Good person as well.
Let's come all the way back through to prior for Livingston. Can County get a goal before the end of this first leg, which is less than 14 minutes of 90 to play? It's a long one up to May, chasing it down. Nightingale under enough pressure to be spooked and put it behind for the corner.
Look at David Martindale. It's a great ball by McGowan. He just hit it between the 18-yard box and the touchline, and they've knocked out for a corner, and Davies like, told you, that's what I've been wanting the whole night.
Well, it will be a corner to Livy on this near side. And County have everyone bar Hale back to defend it. It will be Smith to take, in swinger with the left foot, in front of the main stand. And it comes to the 6-yard box, diving header away by Wright for County. Brandon keeps it alive, out to Smith, tries to chop away from Harmon, who does enough to get it forward to Hale, but Hale can't control, comes back towards his box, and Nisbet's clearance is charged down by Mays. He's giving his manager exactly what he's been sent on to do. He's chasing lost causes, and he's hounding defenders.
Yeah, and it's, you know what it is as well, Liam, it's great to see a lot of young boys and young girls here tonight. I hope a lot of them can make the journey. So obviously the schools are on, but it's a long way to go. But you would think
it's a bank holiday on Monday.
Is it?
The whole country.
School, all right, okay.
So there you go.
Maybe, well,
and tomorrow.
Enough.
It depends where you are. I think it's different in different parts of the country. But I think Monday for certain is a holiday. So every chance. Here's Harmon driving forward, rolls it left angle of the box for Hale, chips it into the area, stretching to get it away is McGowan. A combination of he and Pittman do get it out of the danger zone as Montagno looks for May on the right of the centre circle, can't find him, and then May again harassing Nightingale. Comes off May last this time though, and out for a County throw-in on this near side. Livy with this 1-0 lead here on Sports Sound, on BBC Radio Scotland, on Extra, on digital, and online at bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. Rory Loy.
I was just going to say, Stevie May, he looks fit, he looks hungry. Whether that is a case
He'll want to stay here presumably next season, especially if they go up.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He's maybe playing for a contract here or elsewhere, but yeah, he looks in good shape, he looks fit, he looks hungry for goals, and he's made an impact so far.
Without the long hair these days, of course. Throw in here for County, which Eli Campbell will bowl into the Livingston box. In it comes. The first contact's made, but it's cleared on the 6-yard line. Now it's Harmon. First time with the left foot to the right there. Randall in the central position. He gets it back to Harmon and then into the centre circle for Nightingale. Pokes it to his right for Nisbet. An option on the touchline. In Ifete, that's where it goes eventually, but via Dylan Smith. It's Ifete to White, first time ball forward, cut out. He was trying to get it into the feet of Nisbet, and it's clear. And then on the far side's Robbie Fraser, turning into his own box, but then getting it away. County seizing the initiative perhaps, but Campbell's giving it away, and Livingston looking to spring them here with Lewis Smith driving forward, support arriving, but he didn't have the quality to find Finlayson to his right. And it goes back to Amisa, who clears first time with the right foot up into the centre circle. Pittman wins the header. Now it's at the feet of Muirhead on this near side. Up the line it goes for Smith. May's waiting in the middle. Montagno's there as well. Smith rolls it in field towards the penalty spot. May can't get anything onto it. County clear. Out it goes for a Livingston throw-in though. On this near side. Heading towards the final 10 minutes of the 90 here. Livy 1-0 up, but looking for a second, which could be massive for them.
Young Lewis Smith he's breathing heavily after a couple of lung-busting runs.
He's on it again here. Smith level with the County penalty spot. Challenged by Campbell. Again bends the ball. It's a good one, and it's clear by Wright. He was right in front of his own goal there. He had to judge that to perfection, and he does. But it is at the expense of a Livingston corner kick. Livy 1, County 0.
This is not going to be rushed in. Smith's just trying to get his breath back. He's worked ever so hard. His quality on his left foot's been excellent. Chance again. Whip this one right in.
Well, the only goal of the game came from a corner late in the first half, later than we are in the second here. Stoppage time, Danny Wilson, who's interested in this one as well. He's moving towards the back post, comes in towards the 6-yard line, but it's headed away by White, and out it goes for a throw-in. County cannot afford to concede again.
No, certainly not. And I think Davy's got to look again at his bench. Smith honestly looks like he's done. Looks knackered. Can hardly walk. I think he's getting cramped.
It might be time for him. Tete Yenge's ready to come on. Big figure of Tete Yenge comes back here to Finlayson, gets the ball, it's a good ball into the 6-yard area, and somehow it emerges in the gloves of Amisa. Montano stooped low to try and get the head onto it, but it's back in Amisa's grasp, and it stays Livy 1, County 0.
It's a brilliant ball in, causing all sorts of concern. They get the break of the ball, County there, and it lands in the keeper's hands. Could have been oh so different.
Maybe one of his last acts there, Montano. Believe it's he who's going to be replaced by Yenge rather than Smith. As Wright knocks it forward, looking for White. Livy head clear, breaks to Randall just outside the centre circle. He rolls it out to the touchline. First time ball. Smith going down the right, trying to get round Fraser, but Fraser does enough to see it over the line for a throw-in. And here comes the change for Livy. Christian Montano will be replaced by Tete Yenge, Rory Loy.
Yes, I think he'll make an impact, Yenge. I think he'll fancy this. He'll know it's on television. He'll go up there, and it looks like Stevie May potentially might have moved to the left-hand side, and Yenge will go through the middle. We'll wait to see if that stays that way, but I think Yenge will come on and make a difference, and he's got a wonder goal in him out of nowhere, so it's the final ace up his sleeve for tonight, Davy Martindale.
Came in last season, Tete Yenge. Will he make a big impression in the closing stages of this first leg in this Premiership playoff final? Throw in Ross County over on the right-hand side, bowled into the Livy box. White does win the first header, but the defender behind him was Wilson, and he gets it away. Yenge's first act is to try and clear from the left-hand side. He's done well to win a goal kick, actually, as it bounces off Eli Campbell.
If I'm Don Cowie, I'm worried. I'm seriously worried about the second leg, because they don't look like creating anything. Livingston looked a hungrier team, better organised team, more about them, more energy, and it's got to be a real worry for Don.
Livy had a miserable season in the Premiership last term. They were automatically relegated, but as we've seen in recent years, teams are capable of bouncing straight back up. I think that helps the fact that some of the big guns who were lying in the Championship for a number of years haven't been there. As Livy come forward, it's Yenge rolling it back to Pittman. Really important challenge by Kenna to win it back for County, but Nisbet's ball to Harmon's going to go straight out for a throw-in. I think the ref's going to pull it back for a foul and a Ross County free kick here, just the edge of their own box. Both managers on the edge of their respective technical areas. We've played 84 minutes, Livy 1, County 0.
The big push, diagonal to Jordan White now, try and get bodies round them if they can.
Highlights of this tonight, BBC Scotland channel at 11 o'clock. BBC One, in fact, as Amisa clears with the right foot out to the far side. White losing the battle with Yenge, and Livingston able to clear. May's going to chase this down, and Campbell gets there. Nightingale was relieved Campbell did get onto it, because he kind of left it. And Randall, long one forward there. White and Hale will chase Wilson with a header. Gets enough on it to get it back to his goalkeeper.
They've been excellent. McGowan and Wilson really have.
I think the two of them could play together in the Premiership next season, Alan.
Not so sure.
Too much of an
that.
ask.
Not so sure of that. Ryan will be, what, 36? Danny coming up for 34.
Yeah, I'm confusing everyone. The highlights are on the BBC Scotland channel tonight at 11 o'clock. Apologies for the confusion there. As McGowan clears right-footed. It's May's header. Nods it back to Pittman. Now out to Smith on this near side. Smith's got full side of Campbell. Was he tripped? Was he tripped? Oh, the card's out for a dive again. John Bean thinks he's dived, but it looked like a clip from where we are. And I don't think we've heard the last of this one.
Wow, I thought that was a penalty. It's right in front of us. I'm sure he goes across him and gets clipped. Like to see that one again.
This is a massive moment coming in here. John Beaton will be speaking to Andrew Dallas. He'll be perusing replays of that.
One thing it's not, given the pace he's travelling at with the bodies round him, in my opinion, is a dive.
Well, he's clearly got it right.
Yeah, he must have done.
Well done, the ref. He's in the best position.
Yeah.
Where we are, it looks as if he was clipped.
No penalty. No penalty for Livingston.
He was very firm in his decision, very quick.
He was.
Good on him.
He's certainly one of the better officials, isn't he, John Beaton?
And he's been consistent with it as well, because we've seen it in the first half with Samuel.
86 on the clock.
It was awful defending from Campbell, though. Campbell literally just showed him inside and let him run towards goal.
Well, Smith didn't look like he was capable of a run like that just 10 minutes ago, but he's still at it. And Livy have the ball in the county half here. You cannot stress enough that although they came from 2-0 and 3-0 down against Partick Thistle 2 years ago, that was a county team with Simon Murray in it, for example.
Yeah.
Arguably a better squad.
And not being disrespectful to Partick Thistle, Livingston are better than Partick Thistle.
Yeah.
Clean sheet specialists.
And they know if they keep a clean sheet in the closing stages of this one, then they will be taking an advantage to Dingwall for the second leg on Monday. Live here on Sportsound. BBC Radio Scotland, Monday evening, 8 o'clock kickoff. Will be the last action of the domestic season after the 2 Scottish Cup finals taking place at the weekend, including Aberdeen Celtic on Saturday. Live here on the radio, live on the telly. Free kick on the far side to Livingston. They're finishing the first leg strongly here. And the clock ticking down, they lead 1-0.
And you can see they still believe they can get a second. Wilson's going up, McGowan's still going up. You
didn't
would normally
even think about it, did they?
No, not at all. Let's not see this through. 1-0, they're pushing them on.
Final couple of minutes of the 90 here. Can Livy find a second? Got the opportunity, just a yard or two from the far side touchline, beyond the midway point of the county half.
Can they do it again in the last minute?
Let's find out. Into the box it comes. It's headed away. Finlayson was the closest Livy player. Pittman heads it back into the area. Headed away by White, round about the penalty spot. Livy win another ball. Finlayson in the box. Pulled back to Yenge. Takes a touch and shoots. Should he have hit it first time? Should he have volleyed it first time? Might be regretting that now. Will Livy come again down the right with Finlayson? Rolls it back to Pittman. First time, right foot cross comes in. Headed away there by Campbell it was. And then Brandon turns it to Kelly, looks up at goal, shoots, deflected up into the air, headed away on the 18-yard line by White. Finlayson with a cushion header down the right-hand side of the box for Smith. Tries to get away from Campbell. Campbell wins it back, finds Harmon, who clears with the right foot. This is tough for County right now. They had a little moment after the changes for about 10 minutes, but Livingston, as it stands, will be another goal tonight. Livy looked the more like getting it as Harmon fouls Smith right down in front of us. We are in the 90th minute and Livy have a 1-0 lead.
Lewis Smith's been a standout in the second half. Really, really impressed down this right-hand side. Good deliveries, strong running, good intelligent runs.
I believe there will be 3 minutes added, just about to go into them.
You just wonder if Davies thinking we should be better value for this. 1-0, not enough, could have had 2. And I think Don will just be quite happy to get out with 1.
One's more than doable. As Kelly takes the free kick, right-footed, bends it to the 6-yard area, and it's a Livy head onto it again. It's Yenge, I think, going by the reaction. There was a group of players, couldn't really see clearly if it was he or Wilson. But it's back in the gloves of Amisa. And he's getting ready to launch this one forward. We are in stoppage time at the end of the first leg. Long ball forward, down goes White, claiming he was fouled. Referee doesn't agree. Top of the edge of the Livy box though. The home team have enough bodies in the way to get it clear. And it's out for a County throw-in on this near side, which Eli Campbell's over. Midway inside the Livingston half. County looking for an equaliser. Going to hit Livingston, or they were hit themselves in stoppage time at the end of a half. And it is Campbell over this, a bit level with the edge of the D of the Livingston box. Little breeze getting up here in West Lothian as the ball is given to Randall, but he can win the throw-in off his opponent on the near side. Now it's with Harmon. Harmon couldn't quite get onto it, and a little flick from May. And then it breaks out to that right-hand side for Akio Wright, who turns it all the way back to Amisa. long ball forward, right down the centre of the pitch. White goes to attack it, and he's caught his man, and that's going to be a free kick and a yellow card for Jordan White. He's a little bit overzealous in the challenge.
Yeah, he makes a run for McGowan there. It's quite a fair bit away from him and runs into him and then seems to elbow him, or shoulder him, may I add, into the side of the face. But there's going to have to be more urgency on Monday night from Ross County. There just has to be. It's just not been there tonight for them. A couple of half chances, good save early on in the game, and you think, right, they're up for it. But then they've just faded away, and Livingston have dominated. I think Livingston are be harshly treated not to go up to Dingwall with more goals.
Free kick will eventually be taken here by Prior. It's a left-footed long ball into the county half. Header from Campbell's awful. Completely misjudged that, and it's gone the complete opposite way from when he's trying to head it. It's gone out for a Livingston throw-in, level with his 18-yard line. In fact, level with his penalty spot.
Yeah, he's wobbled a little bit in the last 15 minutes, Campbell.
Finlayson takes to Kelly, back to Finlayson, rolls it back down the line for Brandon. Back to Kelly, flicks it infield, and Brandon gets back onto it from Smith. Low ball across, cleared behind for the corner by Wright. Well, right at the death. Livingston have a corner, and Danny Wilson's on his way.
And this one's going to be an outswinger for Stevie Kelly. They won't plank themselves into the 6-yard box. They'll try and attack it 10-12 yards out. Stevie Kelly will try and flash it, bending out the way, in between the penalty spot and the 6-yard box.
Yeah, you're as well going in there and trying to find the second goal, given
you can see Danny coming
any
out.
Time left.
It's difficult to beat Danny if he gets a free run at it.
And from Kelly into the 6-yard area, flicked away on the 6-yard line by County. It was Dylan Smith. Jordan White takes it down. Final seconds of the match in this first leg. Nisbet loses out to May, or at least it looked like he was going to. He's ended up coming out on top. It's shifted out to the right-hand side suddenly. County are flooding forward in numbers. Wright's ball into the box, beats everyone bar George Harman, who's at the left-hand side of it, takes a touch, keeps it in, drives it across. There's a man down in the area, he's looking for a penalty, is Jordan White. Teti Yengi gets it clear with the right foot, and out it will go for a throw into County on the near side. He's still got his arms outstretched.
Yeah,
Jordan White, they are stopping play for now for a check here. Andrew Dallas will be looking at it for a possible Ross County penalty.
Incredible. With Davy Martindale down there. Can't believe it.
Difficult to see from here. He just steams into the box. I don't
He's
even
adamant,
think...
wasn't he?
He was adamant.
He was adamant, but I don't think the ball was particularly close to him at the time. So
was that a shirt pull? We're maybe hearing
a small shirt pull apparently. Now, is it enough? Is there enough for it to be an infringement? And again, talking about crucial moments in crucial games, John Beaton's got his right hand up at his right ear as he tries to listen to what the message is. Will this be a Ross County penalty? I mean, if they can go back up to Dingwall with a draw after a converted penalty here, they'll have won a watch.
He's getting the two captains over as well here. Is he going to have a look at it?
Well, is he going to be asked to come and have a look himself? He's walking slowly towards the main stand. The stoppage time's up. All eyes are on John Beaton. Still, they're looking at replays. This must be a major bone of contention. I think Alan's getting a chance to see a replay of it.
Yeah, it's Danny Wilson.
He's going to look at it.
Yeah, Danny Wilson, as Jordan White goes in, then comes out, and Danny Wilson's got his left arm on him.
I saw it there over your shoulder. It is a clear shirt pull.
I was going to say, Alan, how did you know that? There you go. We've got a wee clip here, let's see.
Rory's just watching it back just now. See if he agrees with the decision. But the decision looks as though it's going to be a penalty. John Beaton's had a look at it. He comes back onto the pitch and he points to the spot. Ross County have a penalty. What a huge, huge moment this is in this Premiership playoff final. Right at the end of the first leg, Livingston scored through Danny Wilson in first half stoppage time. Wilson's just conceded a penalty in second half stoppage time. And Ronan Hale will be on site to take the spot kick. And what a result this would be for the Staggies.
Smash and grab if this goes in, but Jordan White goes into the 6-yard box, then peels out for the cutback, and Danny just It's a lazy left hand from Danny. He
Well,
just gets a hold of him.
Do you remember Dens Park last Wednesday?
Yeah.
Is there an argument to say, though, that Jordan White, as soon as he feels that little tug, knows, you know, if I go down here, it's going to have to get looked at?
Ronan Hale, Ross County's top scorer this season. He scored 16 times. He's on it. He's about to take. Here he goes. Hale, goal! 1-1! 1-1, and this tie is going to be right in the melting pot for the second leg in Dingwall on Monday evening. An outstanding penalty from Hale, away from the grasp of Prior. And Hale has given the Staggies some salvation here in West Lothian, and perhaps all kinds of belief that they can retain their Premiership status. A goal in first half stoppage time, a goal in second half stoppage time, and it will be all square for the second leg. It is Livingston 1, Ross County 1.
Well, in contrast, massive contrast to the lack of belief and willingness to shoot previously in this match from Ross County, that penalty was absolutely exceptional from Ronan Hale. Laces, lasered, keeper goes the right way, no chance of saving it, right in the side netting, top quality penalty.
Oh, here we go, something's happened down at the dugouts. There's fights down there.
Well,
the fans are involved. Don Cowie's there as well.
He's pointing somebody out, Don Cowie.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on there. We are, unfortunately for us, we can't see it now. All the Livy fans have stood up so we can see even less. But Don Cowie and a couple of assistants were pointing at people in the main stand. Game is over. The first leg's over. And the blue touch paper has been well and truly lit ahead of what will now be a much anticipated second leg in the Highlands on Monday. It's not often you see Don Cowie lose his cool, but he was finger pointing at somebody or a group of people behind him.
Stephen Ferguson's down there as well, the director of football, he's down there as well. Scott Thompson, the goalkeeping coach.
Well, we'll find out.
Head of security from Livingston.
Well, Brian's our pitch side reporter, and he will be clearly trying to find out what's going on. But what we saw on the pitch this evening was a thoroughly entertaining game of football that's ended all square. Danny Wilson and Livingston ahead, the championship side seeking promotion in first half stoppage time. County were probably the inferior team across the 90 minutes, but Ronan Hale's penalty, his 17th goal of the season, could be priceless for Ross County if they stay up come the end of the match on Monday evening in Dingwall. The county players, their manager, go over to applaud the supporters who made the long journey south for this one. Livingston clearly still very much in this tie, but David Martindale will be furious that he's not taking an advantage up the road in 4 days' time. It finishes here in West Lothian. Livingston 1, Ross County 1.